Well, welcome to Your In Depth. Today we're covering the last part of The Hobbit, An Unexpected Journey. This will be our part 3, and this will be the one that ends out the first Hobbit movie. I'm Jacob, and with me as usual is Lymphoma Hodgkins.
Heyo. It's a good one. I like that one. Yeah, that's a solid one.
By the way, do you know how I've been coming up with these?
How?
I literally Googled diseases.
Oh my god. You would.
Well, no, but the first one I just come up with, it was lupus Gunnington, so lupus. And the next one, I'm like, what should I do next? And what was next? Oh, leukemia. And then the next one, and last time it was what did I come up with? What was last time? Oh, melanoma Watkins. But anyway, no, I've been having fun with that. I like it.
Yeah, this one was a pretty solid one. I'm surprised you got
You like this one?
Yeah. I like
well,
that
because
one.
there's freaking non-Hodgkin's lymphoma or something like that, and I'm just like, oh, Hodgkins. That sounds like a last name. I mean, I think it probably is, but like, you know.
Oh yeah, Criminal Minds, Agent Hodge.
Well, okay, not. I meant
It's
like.
close.
I meant like the disease. I think has an association with that because of that.
That's where mine went. My mind went.
No. Anyway, do we have any Lord of the Rings news? I don't think we do.
No. Last time I had just mentioned about that Gollum game getting created or being in production.
Oh, I don't recall that. I remember there being a Lord of the Rings game coming out, but was it specifically like a Gollum?
Yeah, so it's a Lord of the Rings Gollum game, and I don't really have a whole lot of information on it. All I know is that you're playing as Gollum. I'm not entirely sure where it's set, whether it's during the Lord of the Rings movies or if it's before that or what exactly.
So do we ever get any backstory to how Smeagol kind of became? Okay.
Yep,
because I was looking up, I was trying to find something on him. I don't remember what, but I looked up it on like a fan Wikipedia thing, and I found out what race he actually was, and I was like, oh yeah, how? Like,
yeah,
and it raised my curiosity. So
and I'm not going to go into his backstory right now because we'll be able to cover that. But basically in Fellowship of the Ring, Two Towers, and then also in Return of the King, we get bits and pieces of how he became who he is, and then in Return of the King, the opening scene is basically like a backstory. It's like a flashback to how this whole thing started, where how he got the ring and how he got to looking the way he looks.
Oh. Okay.
We actually get a visual of.
Of course, it has to be
happened.
the last freaking movie that we watch because I'm really interested.
Yep. But we'll get, like I said, in the first and second Lord of the Rings movies, we will get more backstory on how he got to where he is.
Okay.
We do get that information.
Okay. And so since we don't have anything, we're ready to move on, aren't we? Just get into the episode.
I do know last episode I had mentioned about the War of the Rohirrim movie that's in production right now.
The what?
War of the Rohirrim. So the Rohirrim are a race of men in the land of Rohan.
Okay.
And so as far as I know, it's said that there's, the Rohirrim have been fighting like the orcs and whatnot for a while on their land, and this is kind of like, this movie's going to be a visual representation of that war instead of just kind of like hearing about it in passing from the movies, because it is mentioned briefly in like the second and third movie a little bit. This is actually going to go further in depth into like that war, and we'll get to see some of the characters that we do see in the second and third movies of Lord of the Rings who were introduced to in those movies. We'll get to see more of them as well. But it is an animated movie. It's not live action, but I do remember I did mention that last episode.
Okay.
But as far besides that, I don't have any sort of Lord of the Rings news or anything like that.
Well, yeah, because something I was wanting to start doing is kind of like recapping our last episode, mainly with these movies, because it's like, if it's an episode, like The Mandalorian, it's like, I mean, they're styled as episodes. Like, we could kind of give a quick, like, okay, this is what happened last time, but it's not as in need of a summary, because we're summarizing a chunk of a larger picture than just an episode.
Yeah.
But anyway, last time we had met some new characters. We met Radagast, learned of the necromancer and kind of the darkness coming out, and then we saw some trolls steal the dwarves' ponies, We found that the Pale Orc is still alive. The dwarves and Gandalf made their way into Rivendell, where we met Lady Galadriel and Lord Elrond.
And Saruman, too.
Well, oh, yeah, actually, because that was the first. Yeah, and Saruman. And
because he did get mentioned when Gandalf and Radagast were talking initially, but we actually...
I didn't recognize that this was like the first meeting of him.
So...
Canonically?
Canonically, yeah. This
is
right our first meeting of like actually being introduced to who Saruman is.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we actually got to got a face with the name. We got to see Count Dooku.
Yeah, they gained some new weaponry, and we discovered the location to the entrance to what's the place called? The Moon Ruins.
Oh,
right?
For the Lonely Mountain.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm wondering what the actual name. I can't think of what it is.
One thing, because I talked to my brother Tyler, because he's like so basically the information that you and I have about like Star Wars, right?
Yeah.
That's him for Lord of the Rings.
Oh, okay.
So with those new weapons that Gandalf and Thorin got, and you know how I kind of went into like a little bit of the backstory of Gondolin, the place where they got it from?
Yeah.
So that was actually, for whatever reason, I feel like I said that was like a kingdom of men, like ancient men. That was elves. Just for clarification, in case I accidentally gave the wrong information there. Like
I don't remember.
That was a huge kingdom of elves, and basically a giant dragon flew there and attacked with the bad side, right? And dropped giant, they're called Balrogs, but just think of like gigantic flame demon.
Oh.
Right?
Okay.
And we're talking like 15, 20 feet tall at least.
Oh, geez.
Like they're giant, like flame beasts, and this dragon is dropping like dozens of them off of its wings and its body into the city to destroy it. Yeah.
Okay.
But I just wanted to clarify that because I'm pretty sure I said that was the Kingdom of Men, and that was incorrect information. But
okay. Yeah, but then the dwarves had left Rivendell.
Yep.
That's where we ended last time. They were just leaving. I think last scene that we covered was Bilbo looking back.
Yep. Bilbo looking back towards Rivendell. Right. And just for that scene though too, and I don't remember if I had said anything about it or not either. Part of that scene with him looking back, it's not just like maybe like a worrisome about meeting up with Gandalf again. That's like I don't want to leave.
Yeah,
type feel that Bilbo has for that.
And Elrond had said like you're welcome to stay, and I mean, obviously Bilbo has this kind of affection for the place. You know, he really likes it, and I think it's probably that like. Man, I like it there, right? I don't know if I want to leave.
And so, I guess you could consider this a spoiler, but it's really not, you know. But in the future, after all this, and during the events of Lord of the Rings, Bilbo revisits Rivendell. So it's like, just to clarify, it's like it's not just like he's just gonna forget about it, you know. Like this place is like he feels at peace there. Like that's what that's what Rivendell is for, to feel at peace and not have worry. And so that's like just like I said, it's not really a spoiler, but I guess kind of. Teeny tiny bit. It's not a huge deal.
It's not going to give away a plot line.
Yeah, it's not like any sort of huge deal or anything like that. But he does later on in his life go back to Rivendell and live out the rest of his life there because it has that big of an impact on him visiting here for the first time.
But anyway, so he looks back. Now we get into this chunk of about 1 hour and 53 minutes into it until the end of the episode or movie.
Yeah,
the episode.
And if I'm not mistaken, at this point, it does kind of give us more of like they're traveling on the road, just kind of to do like a little time lapse for the movie, essentially, is what it does. But yeah, we do see them traveling, on the road, and we get some more shots of like the mountains and the landscape of where they're at. Yeah,
you just put it pretty well. They're trekking along. I gotta say, right now, so. If it wasn't evident just from the sound of the audio, we didn't really address it, but we're actually in person again, which is really nice. Just because I can feel you from here.
Feeling my beard.
No, but like I like it because our style has always been. I watch it prior. I take notes so I can outline what we want to touch on, but we also want to. I have a prompt to read. It's not like a read from it, but like I can walk us through the notes that I've taken, and I can point out significant events that I have determined to be significant beforehand. And you just follow along, in the actual movie. I kind of like this because like sometimes, I guess, actually, I almost like every single episode. It's like, oh, now we get to this. And then you're like, well, hold on now.
Yeah.
But here, I look over and I see where you're at because you're watching it on your phone. So I'm just kind of like, oh, okay. Yeah, you're here. I can, like, I don't know. It kind of helps me be more, like, in sync, I guess, where you're at as far as time frame on the movie.
Yeah. And like you said, I do backtrack us a lot.
Well, but it's not, it's not in a nuisance kind of way. It's touching on details that you see significant, you know.
And, well, because, I do it quite a bit when we do Star Wars, you know. But I feel like I do it a lot more with Lord of the Rings, or at least with The Hobbit so far. Mm-hmm. And that really just comes back to, like, I've seen these movies 100 times, and I do have more backstory
I've seen Star
on
Wars
them.
100 times.
Okay, fine. I've seen these movies like 1,000 times.
Oh, okay.
Because I've definitely seen them a lot more than Star Wars.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Lord of the Rings, Middle Earth, this universe is my favorite universe of all time.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
So,
like, and because I love Star Wars, right? Like, diehard Star Wars fan.
Right.
But, like, you have Lord of the Rings way up here, and then it's a significant drop to Star Wars at my second favorite.
Well, and I gotta say, with that, there's a lot more of, I want to say, and I guess I don't know what Knights of the Old Republic, I don't know the whole storyline where everything falls. But I think it's a lot more detailed in Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit anyway.
Oh, absolutely.
So there is that. There's the history behind it. There's the forces at play. There's the land. There's this and that.
It's not so much that there's more detail. It's just that in Lord of the Rings and in Middle-earth, the events of the past influence the events of the present
a lot more
way more and more significantly than it does in Star Wars.
Yeah.
Because, like, if you look at Star Wars, right, you have the Old Republic you have, like, Revan is one of the characters in that, and he has this thing where he falls to the dark side and then comes back to the light side. And, you know, you still have the Jedi Order and whatnot there. But, like, yeah, that leads up to where we're at with, like, you know, with episodes 1 through 9 where it's at now, you know.
But it's not direct.
But, like, the events of the past not covered in the movies does not impact the events of the movies very much. Whereas in Lord of the Rings, and I'll just say him because I've mentioned before, Sauron, right?
Yeah.
The big bad of Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
You know, there's a whole history to him, and events that we will see visually when we hit Fellowship of the Ring. You know, those events impact the present significantly. Because like in the past, you know, he's defeated, yes, but he's not defeated. Like, he's still there.
Yeah.
You know.
And so, as you covered last time, like, especially just touching on that, it's like, you know, any lost ring is something is just a little more power that he has. So that, he's still there.
And so, like, and how I had mentioned too last time with the trolls, right? The fact that they're coming down from the mountains now is very significant to these events because, as I said last time, they hadn't done that in at least 3,000 years. You know?
Yeah.
So, like, some of the stuff that we're seeing here is, to the characters at least, you know, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
Whereas when we look at Star Wars, you know, like the fall and rise of Revan, where he falls to the dark side and comes back to the light, that has no impact on what's happening currently in Star Wars. Right. It has no impact whatsoever. But this right here, where we see the trolls coming back down the mountain, or you know, Radagast mentioning the necromancer and, you know, all the spiders in the forest, that's very significant. That's something that happened in the past, and they thought they defeated it. They thought that was over. But it's not over, and they're coming to realize that now. Like, it's kind of like the sins of the past are coming to haunt the present. A type of significance, you know. Yeah. Whereas, like I said, they thought they defeated the enemy. They thought he was dead, but they never realized they didn't really defeat the enemy. They won the big battle that needed to be won, but they never they never put him down. They never full on killed him, you know.
Right.
And that's really why I end up backtracking and then kind of going down a rabbit hole more so with Lord of the Rings than I will Star Wars. Yeah.
Well, returning to the actual events of the movie that we're covering right now, they're venturing across, you know, the mountains, and as I see on yours, I think is that a storm?
Yeah, so it's storming and raining, and they're on like a little path on the side of a mountain.
And they're moving along that. Bilbo almost falls once, and they, you know, kind of bring him back, and kind of like they're like,
yeah,
you know. But then here coming up, there's just a huge freaking boulder just flies at the mountain that they're on, smashes above them, bounces off, and they find out that they're in a thunder battle between stone giants.
Yeah.
Now, it does not really say what exactly stone giants are, other than the word itself, because they're giant things of stone.
Mm-hmm.
But what are those?
Honestly,
just another creature kind of thing.
It's really just another type of creature. As far as I'm aware, stone giants are not really mentioned a whole lot. We never see them being on the the good side or the bad side of any prior wars or anything like that.
Yeah.
But from all hints and whatnot that we get from this scene, stone giants are more of a myth or a legend than an actual thing.
So it's the kind of thing that they've heard about. It's kind of like on Skyrim, right? Dragons,
Yeah, and so
it's like you've heard about it, but you never know that they're really real.
Yeah, and so like Bilbo himself probably has never heard of them before, being a hobbit living in the Shire and whatnot, but the dwarves, who are very mountainy people, they live inside mountains, they do a lot of mining. I'm sure they've heard about stone giants in bedtime stories and fairy tales type deal. Yeah. And so this is like a
rumors and
my god, they're actually real type of moment for the dwarves at least.
But
whereas, I would say say Gandalf, honestly, with how old he is. Mm-hmm. And I mean, not even I would say it's a fact. Like he knows they've existed.
Yeah.
Because as I've said before, he is essentially like, if you think to the Bible, the one of God's angels.
Right.
But in this sense, instead of like God kicking him out of heaven and all that stuff happening with the Bible, this is God sent him down to help people.
Well, he's not that angel.
Well, yeah, he's not that angel. That's like, all right.
I know what you mean,
you said that, so now I have to say this, okay? If we're doing references to the Bible, that angel that got sent down from God after
Sauron?
He tried to pull his thing, that's not Sauron.
It's not.
No.
Oh.
So that
Is
angel...
it somebody that we have met yet?
No. So you never actually meet him. He's mentioned, if I'm not mistaken, one time in all 6 movies.
Oh.
His name is Morgoth. And so if you read the histories of Middle-earth and all that, you would know that you learn of Morgoth, and he's essentially Lucifer from the Bible. Right?
Yeah.
But he is the first creator of orcs. He is the one that... So at one point, I don't remember what movie it's in, but at one point we get told that orcs used to be elves, and they were then kidnapped and tortured, and like magic was done on them to turn the first... some elves into the first orcs. Morgoth's the one that did that.
Oh, okay.
Morgoth. So if we go to Star Wars, right?
Yeah.
Morgoth is Darth Sidious.
Okay.
And Sauron is Count Dooku or Darth Maul.
Oh, okay. So it's okay.
Yeah. So
I like that kind of reference because I understand it.
Yeah. But that's So Morgoth is Darth Sidious. Sauron is Darth Maul or Count Dooku.
Okay.
And to help correlation, especially for you, because that gives you a kind of visual to kind of base it off of. But yeah, so Morgoth, when I had mentioned Gondolin and all that, Morgoth is one that attacked Gondolin and made that whole thing fall.
Okay.
And he's defeated during the War of Wrath. It's another thing that you wouldn't know unless you've read books or seen backstory stuff on him. Yeah. And then that's when Sauron takes over, and then how I had mentioned, like with the trolls coming down from the mountains and that a huge war that happened there. Okay. Sauron was in charge during that because Morgoth was already dead.
Okay.
But yeah. So, anyways, back to this. Gandalf would definitely know that like stone giants were a thing because he was like an angel that got sent down by God. Or in this universe, God's name is, I'm trying to think of the first word, but something Iluvatar.
Okay. Is
the name of their god, and he sent Gandalf down. So Gandalf would know about all this. He knows about a lot of the weird creatures and stuff that we will see, and he's at least well aware of a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
Just because he's been around on the world for this long, and he, is an angel.
Yeah.
And he's like very powerful and wise and all that kind of stuff.
Okay. Okay.
I apologize for going down that rabbit hole.
No, you're fine.
But you saying it's not that angel kind of was like, well, now I have to at least do something. Like I have to. I'm very compelled to say something.
Yeah, and I like that you are able to I don't know, paint the larger picture, and then we kind of understand the individual scenes, like, you know.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. So they're
back to the stone giants,
right? Yeah. So stone giants are chucking boulders at each other and fighting. The mountainside that these guys are trekking along turns out to actually be a stone giant. And we get this just kind of adrenaline-filled, frightening situation.
Yeah, well, because it splits the party in half.
Yeah,
essentially,
it's like they're on both legs.
Yeah, one half of them's on one leg, the other half's on the other, and that's when this giant like gets up to get into the fight as well.
Yeah, and because he's just sitting there like.
Mm-hmm. And I've always wondered too. I've always wondered too with this scene, because that one that they're on right now, it like you said, it's like he stands up like he was just sitting there watching this whole thing happen.
Yeah, and then now he's getting involved.
I'm really wondering if there's supposed to be some sort of like hierarchy here in the stone giants, and he's supposed to be like some higher up hierarchy dude.
You're just watching the peasants fight.
That's watching them fight, and then something happened with this fight. Then he's like, now I got to get involved.
Yeah,
type thing. I have no idea why he was just chilling there while the other two were fighting. But I've always thought that whenever I've watched this scene, like, is there some sort of like hierarchy, and he was watching, and then there has to get involved?
Yeah, there definitely is the question, like, why was he just chilling there? Yeah, so, I don't know, but yeah, so they're being swayed around wildly, and eventually that stone giant falls into the mountain with the first party, the one that was in the lead, of dwarves on him still, and it looks as if they got smashed. Like, it crashes into the mountain. Thorin screams like, no, because his
as far as
friends
he knows,
just basically got smashed.
As far as he knows, like you said, his friends, and even too, not just his friends, his subjects, the people he's going to be ruling over.
Yeah.
And I would say, Thorin, in terms of being a king or being someone, a ruler, is very compassionate towards his people. He's not going to be one of those cruel dictators that doesn't care what his people think. But he's not going to be one of those cruel dictators that doesn't care what his people think and doesn't care about their well-being. He's like, as we saw in our first coverage, he says, I think it's in the first one, but he essentially says, like, these are the people that volunteered. He would rather have these other 12 dwarves than a whole army, because these 12 dwarves stepped up and answered the call. Yeah. And so not just that they're his subjects, they're his friends, like you said. Mm-hmm. And they're they're dwarves that volunteered to help him in the first place. Like, so they have a very special spot in his heart, and losing any of them is going to be a huge loss to him. Yeah. And right here we see it, and according to him, as far as he can tell, he just lost half of them. Yeah.
Pretty well half of them were in front and they got smashed, as far as what we see. So they move ahead a little bit more, trying to just progress, and they do find out that they did not get smashed. They're just kind of laying there, because it must have smashed like right next to a ledge, and then they flung off of it. Yeah. So they're pretty happy about that, or Thorin is, and the other dwarves, and then they look back and Bilbo's hanging off of the edge, like he slipped again. Mm-hmm. And Thorin ends up saving him, which actually was kind of a ballsy move. Like, if you see what he did, he like gripped onto some of the other dwarves and then swung down to be right next to him. Like, he's hanging off the cliff now too. But
it's not just that he's like reaching down and grabbing him and pulling him. It's like he's intentionally like putting himself in severe danger, because it's not just like there's a stone giant battle going on. It's raining. The rock is wet and slippery. Like, and for him to do that for Bilbo, I think really says something. Yeah. And no
matter his attitude towards Bilbo, like, he's still helping him. He's still putting himself in harm's way to
even though Thorin makes the comment after he saves him, right? He's like, our burglar's been lost ever since he left home, or something similar to that, right?
Right. Yeah. No, that's exactly what he said. He's like, basically, he has no place among them.
Even though Thorin is saying that, I think he still recognizes that Bilbo has volunteered to help them.
He's kind of on the same level in that way. Like, he stepped up.
Yeah, and I would say so. He, in Thorin's eyes at least, right? Mm-hmm. Or at least in mine. Maybe in Thorin's, I'm not sure. But at least in my eyes, Thorin kind of has an obligation to look out for him, more so than the other dwarves. Because Bilbo is gaining nothing by helping them. He's been guaranteed payment via the contract that he signed, right? Yeah. But he owes nothing to the dwarves. He's not really gaining anything besides some payment from this. The dwarves are trying to get a new home. They're homeless right now. They're trying to take back what was stolen from them. That's not the case for Bilbo. All he had to hear was, "Oh, it's going to be dangerous. I'm not doing it." Period.
Yeah.
Which, but the fact that he's like, it's going to be dangerous. Like, there's a chance that I'm going to get eaten alive by a dragon or burnt to a crisp.
Incinerated. That was one of them.
Yeah, incinerated. Like, there is serious danger to all of them.
Yeah.
But Bilbo is not really gaining even close to what the rest of them are gaining from taking back the Lonely Mountain.
Well, because they're regaining their home. They're,
they're
home.
They're regaining their home. They're going to get home. They're going to get a bunch of wealth from it because of all the treasure inside the home.
Yeah.
And then the wealth that will come with after they've reestablished their home and having everybody move back into the Lonely Mountain, the trade that comes with it, the prestige that comes with it, all that kind of stuff. Bilbo's not getting any of that. He's getting some gold. Yeah, is what he's getting. It's like they're like, we'll give you $1,000 to help us out.
Basically,
is essentially what he's getting.
I would hope that it's more than that, judging by how much they have. But it's essentially that. Yes.
Yeah, that's essentially what he's getting. It's like, oh, we'll give you $1,000 to help us out.
Yeah, $20.
But that's what he's getting. He's not. He doesn't have as much of a reward as the dwarves do. Right. And just that, I would think for Thorin at least, he's more inclined to put himself in harm's way like that for Bilbo than the rest of the dwarves. Although if it was anybody else, I'm sure he would have done the same thing.
Well, probably, but yeah,
yeah. Except for Bomber, that fat little piece of
dude, he wouldn't be able to boost him up.
Bomber wouldn't be able to hold himself up.
That's true, but I mean,
I think I did tell you.
Oh, doesn't he like
after the events of The Hobbit, all three movies, he gets so fat that people have to carry him around on a stretcher to move him from point A to point B.
Oh man. Well,
but anyways,
so they press on a little bit more, and they discover a cave, and they go in there to get out of the rain. Pretty well, just let's stay in here for the night.
Yep.
And let's move out in the morning when it's not raining and it's daylight. Some of the dwarves try to set up a campfire, and Thorin tells them no. I assume probably because it would cause, like, people would see smoke, or I mean, they're in a cave. I can't imagine it being healthy.
Yeah. Well, I would say it's more so just because, like, at this point they do know they are being hunted.
Yeah.
And they don't want to give away their position.
Right.
Yeah.
But anyway, so they chill there for the night, but then we cut and we see the Pale Orc's ugly mug following their scent trail. One of the wargs is sniffing, and they're following.
Yeah.
But it cuts back to the dwarves, and as they're all asleep, Bilbo's not.
Yeah.
He's still thinking about that "you're not one of us" thing.
Yeah.
And so he gets up and he kind of just packs up his stuff, and he's oh, that was your old phone. I was gonna say, dude, seriously? You just got your phone, you're chucking it over there.
But anyways, like you're saying, Bilbo's getting packed up and whatnot, getting ready to leave.
Right.
And one of the other dwarves kind of like, because like obviously they have a watch, they're being hunted, they gotta have someone there to watch.
This dwarf is the most Canadian looking dwarf ever. I swear, he's even got the little ear flap, whatever hat that's called.
Yeah, it's like one of those little Russian hats.
Yeah. No, he's what did I? Oh yeah, he's seen by the Canadian dwarf saying, and the Canadian dwarf's like, "You can't leave. You're one of us," And Bilbo questions that. He's like, "Am I really? Like, honestly?" They exchange some words. Bilbo, kind of in this heat of just like explaining himself, says that the dwarves, I mean, they don't belong anywhere, Yeah. And he can tell that they were kind of that Canna dwarf, I don't know how I wrote it, but whatever, is kind of hurt by that. But he wishes him luck on his way back to Rivendell.
Well, one of the things Bilbo even says here too is he's not a Took, he's a Baggins.
Right.
And that goes back to...
that's referring to his bloodline.
Yeah, that goes all the way back to that our first part.
Right, he's not that adventurous person
going and fighting goblins and all that
his mother's side was. He's a Baggins.
He's a Baggins. He's meant to sit in his home. He has the prestige of the Baggins because at this point, for hobbits, the Baggins is a pretty prestigious house. Yeah. And he's not cut out for this adventuring and rough road type of living. It's not him. He's going to go back to Rivendell and then from there go back to the Shire.
Right.
But and what we see here too is Thorin is actually still awake as well, and he's hearing this.
All this. But as they talk, they draw attention to Bilbo's sword.
Yeah.
And it is glowing blue, which if we remember, it glows blue at, wasn't it orcs and goblins, right?
Yep.
And as they kind of notice that, Thorin, it cuts to him and he's kind of like raising up like, uh-oh.
Yeah. And he kind of almost like jerks awake, but he's already awake, but he kind of like jerks up and like,
because he's like
something's happening.
Well, yeah, because he notices like what that means, and he's like, "Oh, like spring to action, get up." And
I'm sure at this point too, he's thinking this is the orc pack hunting us.
Well, probably he's not thinking what comes next, which we'll get to, but yeah, it's probably like, "Uh-oh, orcs are coming." Yeah, they followed us.
And this is the first time too that we actually see the sword light up and glow.
Like I think it was explained, but we didn't see it happen.
Yeah, exactly. And so, per the movies and everything coming out, we already know that this sword glows like this because it's said in the Fellowship of the Ring. That's already described to us in the first Lord of the Rings.
But I think it was also given to. I think it was explained when he was given it in this.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, but in terms of canonical purposes,
right.
This is the first time that we actually see it glow like this. But if you've seen the trilogy, you will have seen it glow before.
Okay, that's fair. If you've seen it in the order that it was released.
Yeah, okay. But canonically wise, for clarification, this is the first time we actually see it in action.
Yeah. But anyway, and as soon as they're kind of drawing notice to that, and the sand that's on the floor of this cave starts to
fall
through cracks, and then the floor gives out. It was
and
was this intentional? Like, was this a trap to them, or did it just kind of happen?
So
that's what I'm kind of, I guess, confused on, because how they land is like it seems like it was a trap.
Where I have it, because I have it here on my phone, I have the subtitles right. It says in the subtitles when we see that sand doing that, it says wood creaks.
Okay, so it was a trap.
Yeah,
that was a yep.
So it was a trap. I don't.
It's a trap.
Honestly, I'm not even sure if it was a trap.
Had to.
I don't even know if it was a trap because, and since we're coming up to this anyways, I'll say it. The Goblin King that we'll get introduced to, and we'll talk about more once we get to that part in the movie, says, dwarves on the front door. It's not like
so maybe it was like an entrance.
It's not like we've caught some dwarves. There were dwarves on our front step.
Yeah, it's probably their entrance to it. That's how they get in and out.
Because as we see later on in this scene still, right? We can see that goblins can crawl up walls and stuff like that. Yeah. So this could very well be the front door that opens up and they just kind of crawl down.
It's probably, but it's not frequently used. Obviously, because there's sand and stuff over it.
Yeah,
but no, that's...
And I mean, the sand could literally just be like the goblins covering up their entrance, too.
That's true.
Because goblins in this world are very cowardly creatures. And in most universes and worlds and stuff, in games and shows you watch, goblins are very cowardice creatures. As soon as they don't have the numbers to win their fight or something like that, they flee, they run, type deal. So I would even say, even if this is the main entrance, they probably would, if it is, they would cover it up regularly to make sure they're not found.
Okay.
Because, and I mean, it's not just that they're cowardly creatures. Goblins and orcs and whatnot are evil. They're just plain out evil. Like in other universes and stuff like that, you might see it's a race of orcs. They're a tribe. Sometimes they do bad stuff. Sometimes you can trade with them, different stuff like that. But in this universe specifically,
they're purely evil.
There's no good goblins. There's no good orcs. They're all on the bad side.
Okay.
So they would be very wary, especially because we kind of get the sense this is not terribly far from Rivendell, where they're at right now.
Well,
I mean, it's a decent ways away.
It's a hike, but it's not. No.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not like it's that far from Rivendell, and I would imagine the goblins know that Rivendell is there. And they wouldn't want to risk the wrath of the elves because, in this universe, the elves are very powerful beings, not in just their knowledge and in magic, but physically, they have strong armor, they have strong arms, they are feared from the evil side. Elves are more so than dwarves or men are.
Yeah.
So I'm sure the goblins are very, very protective, and they go to great lengths to hide their home here.
Probably.
And this also is only just one group of goblins. This is not all the goblins out there. There's plenty of different homes and stuff in the mountains that goblins would have.
But yeah, they tumble down through this cave system, and they come up on basically a basket-looking thing. Mm-hmm. But in that, a bunch of goblins do appear.
I do like though when they fall. when they fall into the basket, Bomber, the fat one's the last one to fall and just like crushes all of them.
Yeah. But anyway, they are in this basically underground cave of a system that is a home to these goblins.
And at this, I don't even know if you could just call it a cave because it like opens up a lot.
Well, I guess it's a like cave system, but it's like huge.
It comes into this huge cavern, and they would have like caves coming to it, but like it's not just like this is a small little band of goblins. Like this is a full on civilization,
right? That
they have stumbled upon.
Yeah, but they all get swarmed and hauled away. The dwarves do by the goblins.
Bilbo just kind of does this. No one's paying attention to me.
He just ducks down, and they all go over him, and then they're all gone. And he's just like.
And one of the dwarves does notice that he did that, but obviously he doesn't want to say anything because that's just going to let the goblins know that they missed one.
Right. So they go off. Bilbo's left behind because he slipped away. Then a little bit here, like after less than a minute, but a goblin attacks Bilbo. He fights it a little bit before they tumble down further into this cavern. Then it cuts back, and we're not on the same page currently. I see where you're at, but that's fine. The dwarves are being marched along into this dwarven city of ruins. Sorry, that's Skyrim. Or the cave village type thing.
And I do like how we do get a brief glimpse of how big this is. I do like that, because it's not just like we see some crappily made bridges and structures on one wall. It's like
pretty
we
intricate.
see the open cavern, and it's like this is a gigantic, like a humongous civilization. It's not like a small little town or anything like that. It's a major city, like Goblin City. Like and we do get to see the cavern veers off in different directions and everything. They've got their scaffolding and stuff along all the different walls, up and down of it and whatnot. Like it's a very big place.
Yeah.
And here in the extended version, this is part of the extended edition.
Oh, it is? Oh, the song?
Where the Goblin King is singing.
Okay, I didn't know if that was an extended scene, but yeah, this giant fat blob of Bloblin, is singing some number just like down, down, down to Goblin Town. Like, he's doing some musical number.
So in the theatric version, if I'm not mistaken, we catch the very ending of this song.
Okay.
In the theatric version, but in the extended cut, we get the full song, and it's just like. It's like it hurts the ears hearing this goblin sing. Like it's not good.
It's not really, no. And he's just and then he sits down though, and he's like, "That's a little number I wrote," like kind of thing. Like he's like, "Look at me, I made this."
So this is, for clarification, this is the Goblin King.
Yeah. Okay.
Just for clarification for any of those that might have thought but not 100%, this is the Goblin King. He rules all of what is called Goblin Town, which is where they're at now.
Yeah.
But I do like that here at one point he like skewers one of the goblins on his like staff, and then throws the goblin off his staff. He uses goblins to get up off of his chair and back onto his chair,
stepping on him. Yeah, he's literally stepping all over his people.
The odd thing with this goblin too is it's not like he's a normal goblin size, but fat. He's big.
No, he's huge.
He's almost like a troll size big. Mm-hmm. Which is very odd for goblins, because goblins don't grow this big. Like this is an oddity. This is a how did this happen type of deal. Yeah.
It's kind of like, never mind. That's maybe something we'd have to cut because it's not nice at all. Anyway, so he returns to his throne and then commands the goblins to search the dwarves. As he's doing that, he crushes the one dwarf's hearing trumpet thing, his hearing aid. And we find out that one of them stole things from Rivendell. They're like, and the others are like looking at him like, really? And he's just like, just a couple of keepsakes. Come on. But then
I like how the Goblin King grabs the one thing of the elves. He says, "Made in Rivendell." Yeah, it was like a made in China thing.
He's like, what?
And he says, Second Age, couldn't give it away. Like, it's some cheap, piece of crap thing, too. Which I thought was kind of funny. And just for clarification, Second Age is when all the stuff with Sauron and all that stuff happens. Okay. But that's as far as I go with that, so I don't go down a rabbit hole.
Yeah, that's right.
But so the Second Age, though, was, roughly a little over 3,000 years ago from where we're at right now. So, the fact that he says couldn't give it away, like, this thing is over 3,000 years old if it actually is second age. Like, really? You can't just, what? Like,
yeah.
That's an old thing. That'd be considered an artifact nowadays, you know?
Yeah. But, Ganondorf explains their... That sounds a lot like Ganondorf. I just realized that. Legend of Zelda. But no, Canada Dwarf is where I was going with that, not Ganondorf. Explains their situation.
So this part right here as well is extended edition.
Right before. Oh, his speech?
His explanation of what they're doing there.
Okay, yeah,
because is extended edition as well.
Yeah, because he's like, essentially, he's like, well, you see, we were on a path. Well, it wasn't really a path. It was like something or another, and he's like, but then we weren't, and that's a problem. And just keeps like going, and it's just
so this little part right here is extended edition.
Okay.
Part, and that's why I like this, because it says, well, we were on the road, not really a road, but more of a path. Actually, now that I think of it, it was more of a track.
Yeah.
The point is, we were on the road, like a path, like a track. And then we were where we were not, which was a problem, because we weren't where we were supposed to be. And
he's going through this spider web of thoughts.
And like we were over in this place last Tuesday, and now we're over here. We don't know where we're at. And the Goblin King was like, "Shut up, you idiot! Like, what are you talking about?"
He stops him.
Then he says, "If they won't talk, we'll make them squawk." And he says, "Bring out the Mangler, the Bone Breaker. Start with the youngest."
And then it cuts to isn't the youngest one the one that has like the patch of hair missing up here?
No, the youngest one is one that gives that really long burp when they're still in Bilbo's house. When they all start burping and he comes out and just does that really long bellowing one.
I don't remember that one. I see that.
But then at this point Thorin steps up.
Yep.
And this is weird to me, this spot right here.
Because he's recognized?
Because he's recognized, just on look, not like I am Thorin, son of Thrain type deal.
Just based on look,
based on look, the Goblin King knows who he is. Mm-hmm. It's not like he needs a second to think about it. It's not like he needs them to tell him who he is. It's as soon as he sees Thorin, he instantly recognizes him.
Yeah,
which is very odd. Which I know there's a bounty on Thorin's head right now, right? You know, like the Pale Orc is hunting him, and he more than likely would have put a bounty on his head. You know. But the fact that the Goblin King, of all beings or creatures or whatever, would recognize him, because the Goblin King definitely would not go above ground. Right?
No.
He's got his entire city and his own army that he can send above ground to go hunt or steal or do whatever he wants them to do.
Yeah.
So how does the Goblin King recognize him? You know, I've always found that very odd.
Yeah, it's a little different. I didn't really think about that.
Yeah. And he even calls him by name, Thorin, son of Thrain, son of Thror.
Right.
King under the mountain, you know, like even referring back to Erebor, which I mean the Goblin King would have known what Erebor is anyways. Mm-hmm. But the fact that he just recognized him really kind of throws me off.
Yeah.
Then he kind of like starts insulting Thorin a little bit, like, "Oh, you don't have a mountain. You're really a king of nothing. You know,
right?
You have no kingdom." Mm-hmm. Kind of just like insulting him right then and there.
Yeah, but then he comments, he's like, "I know someone who would pay a pretty price for your head," and then he's like the Pale Orc or whatever. Yeah. And this is the first kind of after Thorin has denies it a little bit. He's like, he was slain in battle long ago. He's dead. He's gone.
Yeah. So this is the first time for Thorin at least that he's told that Azog is still alive.
Right.
Like obviously we know because we've seen him alive.
Right. But he hasn't. This is the first time he's recognizing and knowing that he's alive still.
Yeah.
Then the Goblin King sends word to the Pale Orc telling him this.
This little like crippled goblin that he sends, like his little scribe, right?
Yeah.
So I actually had a Lego set of this scene.
What didn't you have a Lego set of? Literally, in my line of vision, 3 feet to my left, over there is a giant Star Wars Lego Death Star.
Yeah.
Was that one yours or one of your brothers?
That was Tyler's.
Okay. Well, but still, it's like, dude, I remember. Okay. I remember when you
off topic a little bit. Sorry,
a little bit. Okay. So there was a couple years where we didn't really. We talked a little bit, but it wasn't like so much. And you were out in Ohio, and stuff. So when it was kind of funny because you moved back here for a little bit. This was before I think actually you moved out to Ohio. Mm-hmm. But when you were deciding to. It was like we kind of reconnected a little bit, and I remember coming over, and there was Legos all over the floor, and you were playing with them when I showed up.
Yep.
And
I'm a little kid at heart. Leave me alone,
dude. There's nothing wrong with playing with Legos. Okay, shut up. Don't do that to yourself. But anyway,
as I have a Lego Star Wars 3: The Clone Wars walkthrough right next to me.
Video game. That's fine.
Right next to me on the couch.
Yeah. No, but anyway, so you were just playing with those. But yeah, so you've always had Legos.
But anyways,
yeah, back to it.
I did have a Lego because I think my oldest brother has them all now.
Okay.
And he's actually going through the books and rebuilding them and stuff.
Yeah, I remember seeing them.
But I did have one that's this scene. And so they had several Lego Hobbit sets where you had to get all the sets to get the full company of dwarves.
Okay.
But one of them that I had the Goblin King. Mm-hmm. It had I think it had Thorin and 3 other dwarves. And it actually had the little cripple dwarf, or the cripple goblin as well. And so for the feet piece, it wasn't one of those where you can actually move the legs back and forth. It was one of those solid set you can't move the legs at all, and you can just stick them on a little spot. But it actually had the little basket with a little piece of string that led from one spot to another, like he's getting sent off with the message. And so whenever I see him, I was like, I used to have that guy. Look at him.
That's funny. But yeah, so he sends word to the Pale Orc through that little cripple dwarf. Not dwarf. Goblin. Cripple goblin.
Yeah.
And then it cuts to Bilbo, though.
Yeah, it kind of goes down into a crevice down under there, and it goes down to Bilbo.
Cavern that he fell into, yeah.
Yeah, and he's covered by what I can only assume is a bunch of weird-looking mushrooms. Giant, weird-looking mushrooms. That's all I can assume they are.
Yeah, essentially.
And that goblin that attacked him is laying down there as well.
Yep, they both had fallen down.
But it looks like Bilbo landed on giant mushrooms to cushion his fall, you know?
Yeah.
Goblin didn't.
No. He had much harder of a fall. But we also see that, Bilbo's separated a little bit.
Yeah,
from that. So they fell, but there's something in between them almost. Because as the next scene
it's almost
comes
like
up,
a rock, big rock between them.
Because as this next scene comes up, some creature is kind of just approaching the goblin.
And honestly, it looks almost like a goblin as well.
It kind of does, yeah. It's hunched over. It's basically a little bit more sturdy of a Dobby.
Yeah, I would
kind
say
of.
so,
I mean, minus the ears.
A little bigger, a little bigger, yeah. And bigger not in terms of weight, bigger in terms of longer legs, longer arms, a little more humanoid looking, but
right. And okay, here's the thing. I don't like saying names of things before we cover them in the thing because we want to go in canon order, but this is one of the key icons of
it's a pretty well known character.
It's Smeagol. Yeah, everybody basically knows what that is. Yeah. If not,
if you don't know who Smeagol is, it's Gollum. If that helps ring a bell better for the listeners, it's Gollum.
Yep, interchangeable.
Gollum or Smeagol. Yeah.
But yeah, so that's what that creature is. But
we see, and I'm just gonna go by Gollum for just so we can point him out specifically. He does come oh yes, fool, woo, and then we hear him say Gollum.
Yeah, he's almost coughing.
Yeah, and it's almost like he's coughing or has something stuck in his throat that he's trying to clear, but he's saying Gollum as well.
Right.
And I'm honestly not sure why he says Gollum either.
I mean, my interpretation of it, and especially, I don't know at this point.
So just for some context, though, and this goes into the scene that we will see once we get to the Return of the King, when we do see more of his backstory.
Okay.
Once he has the ring, because we watching this movie, we know he has the ring. And
actually, at this very point,
he still has it.
It falls out of his pocket in this same scene. So it's he has it. That's not given.
Just for clarification, anybody that wants to wait, and if they have not seen the Return of the King yet, stop listening for 2 minutes.
Yep, just skip. There's on basically all podcast platforms. There's a little skip ahead by 15 seconds. Hit that 4 times.
Yeah,
8 times.
Yeah. But basically, when we see his transformation from Smeagol to Gollum, right? When we see his transformation from what he used to be to what he is now, he at first starts with him kind of just clearing his throat, coughing type noise.
It's a disturbing sound.
Yeah, but then it slowly goes from that to Gollum.
Yeah.
And it never really explains why.
See, my interpretation of it, just knowing what I know about it, is obviously his name was Smeagol, and because of the corruption of the ring, he became Gollum, right?
Yeah.
I feel like maybe that Gollum part is something within him, and it's just working its way out by him.
It could be,
you know?
I'm just, I don't,
it's
as
odd,
far as
regardless.
I know, there's no real reason why it goes Gollum and not some other sort of name.
That's fair.
You know, because like Gollum's not just something that you say when you're like coughing and clearing your throat or making like
Listen,
you know what I mean.
I don't know
like
how you clear your throat, but usually I go sassafras. All right, I'm like sassafras. So that's how I cough. I don't understand. A little different, but you know, it's not far fetched. All right.
But anyways, I'm just not sure how it went with Gollum. I mean, obviously, you know,
and that's. Yeah, I don't
Tolkien
know.
went with what he wanted to go with. You know, it's his universe and whatnot. It's just
maybe it symbolizes something to him.
In terms of trying to really analyze there's no real specific reason of why he went with that. Maybe in his personal notes somewhere it might say, but I'm not sure.
Maybe. No, but like it's kind of interesting too because I mean maybe there is significance. There's a lot of hidden meanings in this. Like if you and I'm trying to find a good article so I can integrate it into my notes because it's cool to outline. You know, there's a lot of Christian themes throughout this, and looking at who Tolkien,
yeah, Tolkien
was. He actually was. He brought C.S. Lewis to faith, like kind of helped him and stuff. And then now we know that C.S. Lewis he wrote a lot of at least Christian themed work. Regardless, it's scattered throughout this universe. There's a lot of themes to it.
Yep.
And I'd like to find something that outlines it because there's a lot of symbolism. But I haven't been able to find a good document to say that.
Well, and I mean,
so maybe who knows?
Just
symbolism.
A little bit of backstory on Tolkien. You know, he fought in World War I. You know, and he was actually injured during World War I. And during World War I is when he was really coming up with all these ideas and stuff, and a lot of his ideas for this universe he was going to make. And he only wrote The Hobbit, Lord of the Rings 1, 2, and 3. That's all he wrote. He had notes for all the other books and stuff, or not all, but several of the other books out there, you know. He had notes for those. But after he died, his son took those notes and expanded on his universe that he had created. Yeah.
So, like, I take it he was the one who made the Silmarillion?
Yeah, so his son is the one that did the Silmarillion. He did
really
one book that's called The Fall of Gondolin. There's another one that's The Children of Hurin. There's 3 sets of the histories of Middle Earth, and each set is like 5 or 6 books long. So I mean, like, there's a bunch of books and stuff to go for backstory for this universe. But his son did all of that. His son took his original ideas, made some big changes here, small changes there, and came with more of the backstory. His son's the one that wrote the languages of the elves and the dwarves, the language that we see the Pale Orc speak. Like, all the different languages and stuff we see in this universe, besides, obviously, like, English, you know?
Yeah.
But all the other languages, his son created from nothing. And his son made an alphabet for each of them and all that kind of stuff.
I mean, that's pretty impressive, first off. But, like, looking at, though, really what we're covering, I mean, of what Tolkien wrote, Hobbit, and then 3 Lord of the Rings movies.
Yep.
The Hobbit, there's 3 movies, but it was 1 book, right?
Yeah.
And then there's the 3 movies. So it's like everything that we're covering, like obviously in the movies, I want to say the languages probably work their way into it. You know, some of the background stuff, but a lot of it's still what he wrote.
Yeah, and so
the main thing obviously is, but I'm wondering how much of what the other stuff is into this.
And I will even say too, especially for the Lord of the Rings trilogy, and I will be pointing out some of the bigger differences between the movies and the books for the Lord of the Rings trilogy, but like those books, all of them are so long anyways, you know. So I reread The Hobbit probably 3 years ago now, and it's a good 300 pages long, and the descriptions that it goes into there, and like, so obviously like a film cannot portray all of that. You don't have enough time,
right?
But then like some of the stuff in the movie as well is just stuff that did not happen in the books at all. You know, it's just something that the writers for the movies wanted to put in, that the producers for the movies did. And that's in The Hobbit and in the trilogy. But as far as I know, everything that we've hit so far in The Hobbit is all in the books.
Okay. Anyway, we should probably stop detouring super far. But returning to the movie, Gollum is approaching that goblin, and he starts pulling him away because, like, as he's kind of muttering to himself, he plans on eating it. But as he's pulling it away, it wakes up and it's like, freaking out. He pulls out a rock and just bashes it and starts knocking it out.
Yeah. And this is where we see the ring fly out of Gollum's little pouch that he has.
As he's doing that, it flings out.
Yeah, and we see the ring clatter. It kind of goes a little slow-mo for that as well. And I mean, really, anybody that's watched Lord of the Rings 1, 2, and or 3, you know, would know this is the one ring. The ring of power, Sauron's ring, you know, that he had. Mm-hmm. But we do see Bilbo find the ring after Gollum finishes off the goblin and drags it away.
Well, the thing is, though, he didn't finish it off. Because as we see, Bilbo pulls out his sword to kind of light his way, and it's still lit up. Yeah, because there's goblins in his presence.
Yeah, so I mean, like, Gollum finishes it off in terms of, like... Incapacitating enough to drag it away.
Right.
And then at this point, it's just going to die in, like, a couple minutes. You know, like, its head is bashed in. It just fell from who knows how far.
Yeah,
it's done.
It's ready for... Yeah.
And one of the things they actually add in this, too, which I think is really cool in terms of detail...
Yeah.
When we see Bilbo reach down and pick up the ring, you can see his knuckles are all like cut open and like pieces of skin hanging there from his fall.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, so like just that kind of detail, they don't have to include that, you know? Like no one would notice if they didn't.
Right.
But they actually do include like his knuckles are all torn up and like we see like some skin hanging off and whatnot, like small little bits, like nothing maiming wise, you know, but like just the tear that he took as he fell, the battering he took as he fell with the goblin.
But as he explores a little bit, he approaches and sees Gollum out on a kind of like a ledge, almost like a point out in the middle of this cavern.
Gollum's singing.
Water. Yeah. But he's kind of smashing the goblin's head a little bit more.
Yeah, and this is where we see Bilbo's sword. I almost said Frodo because that's who has it next.
Well, yeah.
But Bilbo's sword, you know, starts to flicker a little bit as we can see the goblin finally dies and it goes out.
Right, yeah, because it goes out. There's no longer a living goblin in its presence. So
Bilbo you kind of see the look on his face. He's kind of confused by this because as far as he knows, Gollum's a goblin.
Yeah,
as far as he is aware, Gollum is another goblin.
And I wouldn't have picked up on that if we would have seen this from the very we're watching it in canon order. We don't know any of the background. It's like we'd probably be a little perplexed as well.
Yeah,
because like, wait a minute. I thought, then what's he? You know?
Yeah, so like if I had never seen any of the Lord of the Rings movies, this is my first time watching the Hobbit movie. You know, it'd been like, wait.
Well, because he kind of looks like one. Like his face is a little more put together, but like he, you know.
But it's like, wait, if that's not a goblin, what the heck is that thing? Mm-hmm. You know, and that's actually something I never really thought of before.
Right.
You know.
But anyway, as he's like looking, he loses sight of the creature. Or, well, Gollum.
I think it's like right when he goes to look at his sword after it goes out.
He looks back,
and then he looks back up, and Gollum's not there anymore.
But the creature, I didn't want to give away the name or anything because we don't know it. Like he says Gollum, like as he's coughing, but like we don't know that that's his name or whatever. We don't know.
But I would think though.
Well, I'm saying that's why I keep referring to him as creature.
At now, today's day and age, with all these movies being out for so long, you'd be hard-pressed to find anybody that has not at least heard of Gollum.
Right, but I'm just saying, in my notes, I was trying to avoid that, so that I keep referring to him as the creature. That's what I mean by that. I'll try my best to substitute it when I read my notes, but anyway. He approaches Bilbo, or as after they talk a little bit, Bagginses. Or Bagginsies.
Yeah, and he actually refers to Bilbo as a meaty mouthful. Like, Gollum full-on plans to kill Bilbo and eat him, too.
Yeah.
But then he does comment on Bilbo's sword. He says, it's like an elf blade, but this is not an elf. Like, what is it? What is it?
Yeah, because he kind of like, he has this like self-driven, like his little narrative to himself, you know? He's like, he narrates what's going on. And
so we do see it in this scene, but for clarification for the listeners, you know, Gollum definitely has multi-personality disorder.
For sure.
You know, he's got two personalities to him. One that is this that we're seeing right now, where he's very aggressive and wants to like kill stuff and whatnot.
Right.
And the other one is more soft and more. I
would say curious.
Curious and a little more civilized. It's very not civilized by any means, but a little more civilized than his other personality. And so, but like with a lot of people that are like multiple personality disorders, like. As far as I know, a lot of them really don't know when they're switching back and forth. Like, if one remembers one thing, the other one does not remember it.
Right.
But with Gollum, he remembers all of it, regardless of which personality is out.
It just kind of switches between the two, but shares a memory.
Exactly, yeah.
But, yeah, so they're talking a little bit. He's never met he's never tried Hobbit before.
Yeah, because, I mean, at this point, he doesn't even know what a Hobbit is. This is the first time he's hearing of a Hobbit. So... For a little backstory on Gollum, what he was before he became Gollum, it was something close to a Hobbit.
Oh, okay.
But it was not a Hobbit.
Okay, see, that's where I was confused, because I did look up I looked up something to regard him, like, trying to figure out something to answer and it said Hobbit, so that must be wrong.
That's just like it's like a comparison to.
What's it actually called?
So I don't think there's an actual name for his race, but they were like river people. They lived like he used to live in like a village by the river. They went out and they fished for food.
Okay.
That type, like river folk is essentially what he was.
Okay.
But they were very similar to Hobbits. They might have actually been hobbits that like their ancestors left the Shire a long time ago and settled somewhere new.
It's whatever.
But in terms of the actual word Hobbit, Gollum doesn't even know what that is at this point.
Yeah. So, but he's never tried it before. Obviously, he's been eating people and things for a little while. But this Gollum starts like kind of having a conversation / argument with himself, and then throughout this conversation, I'm not going to paraphrase every bit of it, but they start having a game of riddles.
Yeah.
Because Bilbo's trying to get his way out of there.
Yeah, and so
Gollum wants to eat him.
One thing is too in the book, the chapter that covers all this right here in the books is literally titled A Game of Riddles.
Oh, okay.
That's an actual thing in the book, yeah, and all these riddles that we hear in this scene are in the book. And I think there might be one or two more in the book that are not in the movie. But this is a pretty significant scene, even though it might not seem like it, like. And I want to say in one of the Lord of the Rings movies, Gandalf even makes reference to this scene as well. Okay. But I'm not 100% sure on that. We'll definitely find out once we get to those movies. Yeah. But I do really like this scene with Gollum and the Game of Riddles. Yeah. I think it's a pretty cool scene. Yeah. So like it's nothing to drive the story. No. But I mean, like there is a significant event. Bilbo finds the ring. Yeah. But after that, it's like okay. Yeah, but after that, it has no purpose to drive the story of the Hobbit. Of the Hobbit specifically, it has no purpose to drive the story. The overall story of the Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, absolutely 100%. Because this is where Bilbo finds the ring, and anybody that's watched Lord of the Rings knows that it gets passed on eventually. Yeah. Leading to all the events of Lord of the Rings. This is very significant in that aspect, but for the terms of the dwarves getting to the Lonely Mountain, defeating the dragon, taking their homeland back, this has nothing to do with that story. Right.
But they start having a game of riddles. Bilbo kind of compliments the creature, or Gollum, as being good with riddles. Kind of as an attempt, I feel like, to bargain with him. In a way. Yeah. Kind of like, But they discover, or they come across or develop the conditions. If Bilbo wins, the Gollum will show him the way out of this cave system that he's in, this cave, so he can get back to the dwarves. The creature's terms are, if Baggins loses, we eats it whole. So basically, all right, you win. I'll let you out. I'll show you the way out. But if I win, I'm gonna eat you. Yeah, that's essentially what it is.
And one thing right here at this point too, right before they start the game of riddles, Gollum is talking to himself, switching between his two personalities, and he says something, and Bilbo's like, or he says like, "Shut up," and Bilbo's like, "I didn't say anything. I wasn't talking to you." Like, and it's just like, well, who the heck are you talking to then? Because like at this point we have not. It really hasn't established that there's two different personalities that can actually communicate with each other, that can talk to each other. Yeah. Yeah. And I always just found it funny. Is like, I wasn't saying anything. Wasn't talking to you. Like, what?
No, that's a funny scene. But also when I like how when they do that, when they establish the conditions or whatever, he's like, if Baggins loses, we eats it whole. And then there's just this pause, and Bilbo's just like, fair enough.
Like, no, there's just this pause, like, let's go. Did he really just say that? Do I really have to agree to this? Like, what? Okay, yeah.
He's just like perplexed for a little bit, and he's like, fair enough. But anyway, they go back and forth with riddles. I'm not going to outline the riddles because I think that just is, it's not necessary. But they're just like, I am this and this, and what do you, like, kind of like, by the way, because recently...
One of the ones that Bilbo says is like, it trots, it stomps, like, and then it stands still. Yeah. And it's like teeth. Like, you chomp your teeth, you can grind your teeth, then you just, when you're sitting there not doing anything, they just kind of sit there. Another one is like, no lid or hatches or hinges, but inside golden treasure is hid. Yeah. An egg with with yolk inside of it.
So there's just ones like that. And by the way, it's similar to, so side note, just quick one though. We're not going to dive into a huge thing. We recently discovered the whole Anchor sponsor.
Yep.
So we decided to implement all of our old episodes with that. Well, before we started up, Lord of the Rings or Mandalorian or any of it, we were in the Clone Wars, and we covered 2 episodes per one podcast episode. Well, in between those episodes, we had a small little intermission where I for a little bit, I made Star Wars jokes, whatever, and that was kind of as I think a good place to end up having an ad. So I needed to find that in the episodes to then put the ad in. And in doing that, Gage did a riddle where it was what's yellow and can't swim or something like that. So it's kind of like that form of thing. He was doing a leading thing because I'm like, a school bus full of children, and he's like, no, a banana, what's wrong with you? And, so but it's that kind of thing where it's like, here's some descriptors of it, what am I?
Yeah. And it's like one that he does is like voiceless, it cries, wingless, flutters.
I like how I go. They go back and forth between riddles for a little bit, but I'm not going to outline them, and then you proceed to go through.
Yeah. I really like the riddles though, because it's just it's just kind of, I think it's just kind of cool is all.
No, they're interesting.
Essentially, just kind of give like a
that.
version of the format of riddles they were giving is really what I was going for there.
But anyway, they go back and forth for a little bit. The Gollum is getting irritated that Bilbo answers his riddles, and then he's getting frustrated that he can't answer his. But eventually they do. The Gollum torments him by talking about eating him as he's trying to, answer.
And at one point,
because he's like, is it tasty? Is it scrumptious? Like he's singing, about eating him.
But then as it's going through the riddles and it gets towards the end of it, like you were saying, Gollum's getting very frustrated. And Gollum essentially says just like, one more, like one last one, like ask us a question, ask me a question.
Right.
And Bilbo cleverly, like this is like tier 1, like top level cleverness, takes him literal. Like, ask me a question. This is your last chance. Ask me a question.
Well, the thing
and
is,
I'll show you the way out.
The thing is, I don't think that he was intentional with asking the question that he asked. Because he was kind of like thinking, and he's like running his hand over himself, and that sounded weird. No, he's like running his hand over his vest, and he like feels the ring, but I mean, and he's like, what have I got in my pocket? Kind of like this, like, wait, what? Like questioning himself, but then Gollum hears that. So I don't think he was just like asking any question, but he ends up defaulting to that, to where he's like, what kind of fair question is that, or whatever? And he's like, you said any question.
Yeah, my thing is like, but he does realize what Gollum said.
He does.
You know?
And piecing that together would be...
And piecing together, like you said, when he was like just like feeling his pockets and whatnot, like, even just that, like on the spot, like realizing what Gollum truly said, even though Gollum meant ask me one more riddle, he said question. That's a very specific difference, between riddle and question. It's very specific. It's a big difference, obviously,
But
and just the fact that Bilbo was able to pick up on it, even though it took him a couple seconds to realize, like the fact that he picked up on it and went with it, like I would say at least speaks towards his intelligence.
For sure he's intelligent. But no, so then, but Gollum's kind of like, that's unfair or whatever. Then you have to give us 3 tries, because it's like, what kind of, I have nothing to go off of. And so he guesses a couple different things.
I think one was like bat's wings, like bones.
Something. One of them was his hands, and he shows him his hands. He's like, nope.
And at one point, I think the last one was like nothing.
Yeah. He even tried that, and he's like, nope, I have something. So Gollum lost.
Yeah.
But he isn't happy with no answer.
No, not at all.
So he starts like getting angry. He then kind of starts searching his pockets, realizes he no longer has the ring, and starts freaking out.
Yeah, and he starts making that connection too.
Mm-hmm. He's like, you stole it. He's like freaking out, angry. He's accusing him of stealing the ring.
And so my thing with this too, right? So before he starts accusing Bilbo, when he's looking for the ring, it's like, Because he knows what the ring can do. Gollum's had the ring for like exactly 500 years now.
Yeah.
You know, because the ring prolongs life of whoever has it. So Gollum has had the ring for over 500 years now. He knows what it does. He knows what he can use it for.
He knows its power.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so one of the things that we will see later on in the second movie and then we see in Lord of the Rings, spoiler warning, skip ahead 30 seconds, right? The ring, if you put it on, it turns you invisible.
Right.
You know?
We're going to cover that very soon anyway, but yeah.
Yeah. But it turns you invisible. So he knows if he puts that ring on, he's going to go invisible. He can still kill Bilbo and still, eat him later. And that's essentially what he's going for.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. Like, he's searching for it because he's going to be
because he wants to use it and not, hold up his end of the bargain. He's going to use it to kill Bilbo and then eat him later. Because, one thing with Gollum, too, especially where he's at, he doesn't have a lot of access to food.
Well, no, he's just kind of,
sure, we see plenty of, small little bones of small critters and, fish and stuff on the ground. But, he doesn't use a fishing pole. He doesn't have, a bow to try and shoot bats or anything like that. He catches all of his food by hand.
Yeah.
So, the fact that he just got a goblin to eat, goblins are a small creature, but for something like him or someone like him, or he doesn't have a big stomach to begin with, that goblin's going to feed him for a little while.
But what about after that, So he's...
Yeah, and after that, he's seeing, the opportunity of having quite a bit of food for a while, not having to worry about his next meal like he would have to. Yeah. And so, he's got this opportunity, I can put the ring on, I can go kill him, and just have that much extra food.
Right.
And then, oh no, the ring is gone. And it's not just, a gone because he's losing a tool. It's gone in terms of, this ring has been... creeping its way into his mind and made him go insane and brought back, and he is dependent on it.
It's pretty much an addiction.
Yeah, exactly.
He's regularly using coke.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Then he just has to go try.
Exactly. It's he's regularly using coke for 500 years. Type comparison, right?
Well, yeah.
It's almost like one of those where if he stops, he's gonna die. Type of feeling that I'm sure he has.
Yeah, but he doesn't have it. He gets angry, starts chucking a rock at Bilbo, and then chases after him.
Mm-hmm.
And at this point is where I had decided would be good for an ad break. So let's do an ad break. So anyway, now we're back from the little ad break. So we cut back to the dwarves right after Bilbo takes off. He's running from Gollum because Gollum's trying to get his ring back.
And the Goblin King is singing another song.
Yeah. Yeah.
So sorry. One thing that the movies don't do in portraying from the books is in the books there's a lot of songs.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in the books there's there's a lot of songs throughout their journeys because they'll have the party have a stop for the night and start to have a fire and they'll sing some songs a song or two around the fire and have a little conversation. You don't see it quite as much as in the movies, but he's singing another song while all the dwarves are getting beaten and whipped and
yeah. But as they're kind of getting pushed around a little bit, actually one of them. What even? Oh, you're ahead a little bit.
So the goblins are attacking the dwarves.
Right, but then one of them's searching through their stuff, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And he picks it up, one of them.
So I'm not actually right there. This is literally, at least where I'm at, is literally right before what you're talking about, so it's fine.
Right as he's doing that, doesn't that win?
Yes. So basically what's happening is...
Oh,
I guess I jumped ahead of it a little bit.
You did,
but,
so it's fine. But
yeah, one of them is searching through their stuff, and he grabs Thorin's sword and kind of pulls it out a little bit, and then freaks out and drops it.
Yeah, and it's the weapon Biter, because it's recognized by the goblins, and they start freaking out. Yeah, because as we talked about, their
yeah, so it's and it's about to be said. Just sorry.
Yeah.
But the Goblin King recognizes it, and he says that's the Goblin Cleaver.
Yes.
And so even the goblins know this blade by that name, and they recognize it on sight, and they can feel the magic that's coming off of this blade. Yep. And they know the significance of it, and that's when it gets to where I was saying the dwarves are getting beaten and whipped and
they're getting ready to kill him. I mean, they're
the Goblin King says cut off his head or bring me his head. And And that's and we even get told here, the Goblin King says that's the blade that slit 1,000 throats.
Yeah.
You know, and that's when he orders all of them killed.
Right.
Tells the one goblin to cut off Thorin's head, and then we see a big flash of light as Gandalf just appears.
Yeah, he just obliterates. Like they go flying back. They get knocked over. Everything.
Yeah.
He's there.
And I think he says like stand and fight.
Yeah, he says take up arms and
take up arms, stand and fight. Yeah, like we're about to start some stuff.
Yeah. But as he has his sword in his hand, the Goblin King, he's like, he wields the foe hammer. You know, they're notable. They know what these weapons have significance.
And what a lot of people don't really take away from this, like you're saying, they have significance, but it's also, the army dude's missing his head. I don't know, probably cat shoot it off.
Okay.
But these blades, they're known by goblins. Yeah. You know, and so like just by that we can assume they would be known by dwarves and other elves and men and even probably orcs. Like, these are notable blades. These blades have seen a lot of, like, they've been wielded through a lot of different battles and they've seen a lot of action. And just the fact that they're from elves means they're very powerful, you know, like, and I don't think a lot of people really pick up on that. I don't think a lot of people don't realize how significant these two blades specifically are, you know?
Yeah. But
back to the movie, some of the goblins start running at Gandalf, and you know, he just cuts like 3 or 4 of them down with ease. You know, we see one of the dwarves start picking up weapons and throwing them to the other members, and they just start cutting through the goblins like they're nothing.
Oh yeah,
And which, I mean, goblins are not very skilled in combat anyways. Goblins primarily rely on their numbers to swarm and overwhelm their opponents. Mm-hmm. And that's why I was saying earlier, like, if the numbers start tipping not in their favor, they flee and run.
They flee, right.
Because, like, it doesn't matter who you are. You know if you're good at fighting or if you're not. You like, and, like, some people, you know, obviously, like, if they're not good at fighting, they'll still stand their ground and fight to the end. Like, they'll do their best. But, like, goblins are not those type of creatures or people, you know? Like, if they do not, I would even say almost, if they don't have, like, a good 4-to-1 odds, at least, they're running. Like, it doesn't matter if there's 15 goblins and 10 people that they're fighting. They're not going to pick that fight. There's 10 people. There's only 15 of these goblins. Now, if there's 40 goblins versus 10 people, they'd go for that fight. But as soon as they lose 10 goblins, they might start to run. Mm-hmm. You know, goblins are very cowardice beings, especially in this universe. Yeah. So, like, the dwarves are just cutting through them like they're nothing.
Right. So, we cut back to Bilbo, and he's trying to escape. He tries to fit through this little crevice in the rocks. As Gollum approaches, he pushes himself a little harder. He slips through, but he breaks off a bunch of his buttons, and he falls backwards. And as he falls, the ring slips out of his hands and lands on his finger, and he just he turns invisible. So that kind of is when he discovers the power of it.
And
or at least one of the powers.
I am going to backtrack right here because you did miss. We
what did I
jumped
why?
over it.
Why?
Gandalf's fight with the giant freaking goblin.
Yeah, but like that's not there yet.
Yes, it is.
Because he comes back up.
I've got it right here.
Okay, why?
So your reaction. So here we do see, as the dwarves are fighting all the goblins before it goes back to Bilbo, we do see like Gandalf kind of kick the crap out of the Goblin King for a second. And you are right, he does come pop back up when we see more fight between Gandalf and the Goblin King, but he like knocks him off of the scaffolding, and he like doesn't really show where he goes, but and we do see, as I've got it here, we see the dwarves start to take off and flee, and then it goes to Bilbo with what you were saying.
Yeah. Okay, whatever.
But I will admit, I did think it was to the point where Gandalf actually does have a full-fledged like fight with the Goblin King.
Okay. No, not quite yet.
Not quite yet.
He does
but there's a little bit of a well, I wouldn't even call it a fight, but kind of Gandalf just kicking his butt a little bit.
Yeah. But anyway,
Bilbo does see the true power, a little bit of the power of the ring. He obviously doesn't know its full extent yet. And I always did find it funny that Bilbo is getting caught up on those rocks by buttons.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, of all the things, it's not like Bilbo's too fat to get through. It's like, yeah, it's a tight squeeze, but the buttons are the things that stop him from getting all the way through.
Yeah. And some of the buttons even hit Gollum in the face. And then, then we discover the power of the ring.
We get to see one of the abilities of the ring.
But they...
and I'm not entirely sure if the ring has different effects on different types of people. Because in one of the Lord of the Rings games, I think it's Shadow of War, it's not canonized, right? So the events that happen in those games is not canon per the universe.
Yeah.
But in those games, at one point, you do see a character in the game put a ring on that's similar to Sauron's ring. You know, and I don't know if it's just because it's a different ring or not. I don't know the full extent of what it's supposed to be. But, like, instead of turning him invisible, it just makes him way more powerful. I mean, that character is an elf, like, lord who's very powerful to begin with. And, like, spoilers if you haven't played the games, but, like...
Well, and even thinking back, and this is...
But, like, essentially, this elf character, during the whole thing with the war between men and elves and Sauron, is killed by Sauron. He goes ghost form, and he basically inhabits the body of a human ranger, and the two of them can converse and whatnot, and they're fighting against Sauron. But... And again, I don't know if it's just because that ring's a different ring, but it's supposed to be the same as the One Ring of Power in the game. It's supposed to be.
Well, and thinking about it, though, look at Lord of the Rings when we saw Sauron have it. He wasn't invisible.
Exactly, yeah.
So maybe it does... I mean, I guess with him, he maybe had more control over it.
Like he made it, and he puts his rage and his knowledge and his power into the ring, you know.
And that's true.
And so I would say, for him specifically, that's why he doesn't go invisible.
Okay.
But when it is shown when he does not have the ring on, he's not all black in that giant armor. He looks close to like what an elf would look like. And then when he puts the ring on, that's when he gets all that armor on. Like it just like manifests on him when he puts the ring on, type of deal. And so I don't know if it's him specifically that it only does that to, and then anybody else that would turn them invisible, or what exactly. But there is definitely more power to the ring than just turning someone invisible.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And like as we see here with Gollum, the way he looks, like, and just based if you've seen the movies, you would know like having it for so long, 500 years, is going to change your appearance and make you all look all disgusting and bald with like 9 strands of hair, and essentially just stop caring about what you look like.
Yeah.
It basically
Similar
makes you
to
become
coke or meth.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But it basically like. Whoever has possession of the ring, after time, it wears on their soul, it wears on the body, and it makes everything they do about the ring and just keeping the ring. Like, I gotta get away from civilization so no one steals it from me. I gotta keep it somewhere safe so I don't lose it. I gotta do this and that so I can hold on to the ring. I have to eat something so I can stay with the ring. So I'll go catch this fish and eat it raw. Yeah. You know, like, that's the type of effect it has long term. Yeah. So it is more than just turning people invisible.
Right.
Is essentially what I was getting at.
But we cut back to the dwarves, and they're still fighting goblins, them and Gandalf. And one of the goblins falls off of the stinking rafter, and they use the Wilhelm scream. You know, the stormtrooper falling, just like, or whatever. I can't mimic it, but they used it. It's been used so much, but they used it.
I just like, because I'm seeing the scene here. Yeah. At one point, a couple of the dwarves grab this really long, like, wooden pole and just start sweeping it left to right on, like, these rafters and whatnot, and just knocking goblins off of them.
Yeah.
And I just find that hilarious. And then, you know, we see Gandalf just carving through them, and the dwarves are carving through them as well.
They're kicking butt.
Yeah. And it's one of these things that...
Lots of decapitations.
Yeah. It's one of these things, though, that I would say, like, yeah, it looks really cool right now, and, like, really cool and badass right now. But, like, there's no way they can keep it up. You know, there's too many goblins for them to do this, to clear through. It's like, they have to run. Yes. Regardless of how many they kill here, while they've still got their stamina and energy and whatnot, you know, and endurance.
They've got
they can't do it long term.
Right. They keep running and fighting, though, as you just, said. Gandalf finally breaks a stone, like, from above them, and it breaks down and does that Indiana Jones thing where it just rolls down the path, and it clears it of some goblins, like, they get run over.
Yeah.
And then finally, as they approach like a certain, like kind of the end of their path on a way, the Goblin King pops up again.
And this is what I was thinking of when I was like backtrack a little bit.
Right. But as he confronts him a little bit, he's like, "What are you going to do now, wizard?" Mm-hmm. Gandalf jabs him in the face with his staff, slices his stomach open.
I think it's like right in his eye too. It's not even just the face; it's like right in his eye.
Yeah, and then he so he slices him open. He goes down on his knees, and he's just sitting there. He's like, "Well, that'll do it." And then Gandalf just
cuts his throat.
Mm-hmm.
And my thing is like, how did Gandalf get under all of that fat of a chin?
Well, really,
to get to his throat, like, because after he does it, the head comes back forward, and the whole like fat chin flabby thing is still there.
Yeah,
like Gandalf, you sly dog, how'd you get in there?
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, then he falls. But then they all fall like down the.
Yeah, and they're still on like that wooden platform they're on too.
Right,
but like somehow they got on different levels of it or something. Like
something.
And because they all get like stuck underneath some of the wood. And the Goblin King falls on top of it, like crushes all of them.
Well, before that though, they all fall and they hit, and then one of them's like, "Well, that could have been worse," and then the Goblin King falls.
But yeah, as they're getting out, one of them points out and says, like more goblins are coming, and we see just a huge wave of goblins running down the side of the. At this point, it's just a very steep hill because they're at the bottom, Yeah. And Gandalf, says we have to get to sunlight. They won't go out in the sun.
Right.
And just for a little input here, as of right now with these goblins and with orcs too as well, they don't like sunlight. Sunlight it hurts them without being enough to like kill them.
Okay.
Yeah. It essentially like it weakens them. Yeah. Sunlight. And so one of the things that we get told in the third movie, but if you've read any of the books, you know as well. Orcs, this is one of the things that we get told in that. And so, like, one of the things that Sauron would do when he was still around, because he has control of, like, his whole land and whatnot, he would essentially send, like, thick clouds. He has that much power.
Oh, and then,
in front of his armies to reach their destination. So that way they could get there faster. They weren't as, like, worn out. So that way his troops could do more. So we could get more killing done, essentially.
Yeah. But anyway, we go back and we see Gollum. Did you see my face there? You did. I could not remember the name. But Gollum, we see him freaking out about the ring again. And they're in a section where
Sorry, I was just gonna say we do see that like at this point Gollum can just assume that I would say he just assumes that Bilbo found the way out.
Well, yeah, because he in his mind. Bilbo doesn't know what the ring does.
Yeah.
And who knows, and based on our previous conversation, who knows if that's what it does to Gollum.
And so I
think it probably does.
It does do that to Gollum, but I'm even wondering if Gollum realizes that as well.
Okay.
I mean, honestly, yes, he's had it for 500 some years.
Yeah.
So I'm sure he would, but it still poses the question, does Gollum even truly know what the ring does to him?
Yeah.
But I guess so in the film, like, Gollum I would say just assumes that Bilbo found the way out.
Yeah.
But in reality, Bilbo's still following Gollum to find the way out.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so it's like Gollum's running towards the exit because he wants to catch Bilbo to get the ring back. But in reality, Bilbo's following Gollum to the exit because Gollum thinks Bilbo's found the exit.
Right. Yeah, but Bilbo, he's invisible. Gollum can't see him. He extends his sword and is like putting it up to Gollum's face, and he's basically contemplating killing him.
Well, because Gollum heard movement behind him, and so he hid. And he happens to just hide where Bilbo is hiding, right there towards the exit.
Yeah, because the movement that he heard was Gandalf and them.
Yeah,
escaping.
he hears the company behind him. Yeah,
right. But so they're in the same area, and Bilbo just kind of approaches him and contemplates just ending him right there.
Mm-hmm.
But
he kind of sees that look on Gollum's face as he goes back to kind of peaceful Gollum, I would say. That other personality he has.
He's not angry anymore.
He's sad.
Yeah.
And we watching the movie and Bilbo, being there, you can see the look on his face. Like, it's pure sadness. It's not rage or hatred or yearning or anything. It's straight sadness.
Mercy
like,
kill. I think he should have done it. But he doesn't.
But at this point, it's like, it's sadness to the point of where one of your relatives have died. You know, like I feel that's the best way I can describe, I would say, Gollum's sadness at this point. Like,
honestly, yeah, he's lost something great to him, obviously.
Yeah, I would say it's almost like if you lost like a mother or father. That's essentially the loss that Gollum is feeling here.
Yeah, I mean, I lost a puzzle piece last week. I'm still torn up about it. I get you. 100%.
Sorry, man, it's rough.
I know it is,
it's
man.
Rough.
I'm freaking out, but
you saying that just reminded me. This is completely off topic.
Okay, yeah.
I saw a picture on Facebook the other day that my aunt put on there.
Yeah,
and it was essentially she had a puzzle made, right, completely done except for one piece in the center of the puzzle. Oh. And they found out their cat ate the puzzle piece.
How they figured that out, I don't want to ask.
Well, so I think they just assumed because they've seen their cat try and eat puzzle pieces before, maybe. Just like chew on it and whatnot. But they have not been able to find the puzzle piece. And I think she said they saw their cat in that box one time for that puzzle. Oh. And it's not like one of the edge pieces. It's one dead center in the middle of the puzzle. Jeez. And you saying I lost a puzzle piece last week just reminded me of that.
Gosh dang it. Well, anyway. Going back.
But yeah, so Bilbo has a sword in his throat. We see Gollum's sadness.
Right, he spares his life. But then he jumps over Gollum.
And as he goes for that jump, too, we see that personality switch.
Yeah.
And so I would say the best way to figure out when he's switching that personality, before Gollum even says anything, watch the pupils of his eyes.
Yeah.
So when he goes into, like, I say mad Gollum or rage Gollum, you know, where like he's aggressive Gollum, I guess.
Yeah.
His pupils are very, very small. I don't know, dilate's not the right word because that's when it's very big.
Constricts.
Constricted.
I don't know if that's even right.
I'm not sure what the actual word, but his pupils are very small. And when he's like kind of peaceful, kind of reasonable Gollum, his pupils are very dilated. They're huge.
Yeah.
But we do see that switch. We see the pupils get very small when he goes into like aggressive Gollum.
Yeah, because he kind of like as Bilbo's like jumping over him, he kind of feels it and he knows that he's there, like somehow. And
so I think it's almost like maybe like he hears something in front of him right before Bilbo jumps because he gets like a little running start.
Yeah,
you know. So I would say it's almost like he kind of hears Bilbo's footsteps as he's running to jump. And that's when he realizes that Bilbo was right there next to him this whole time.
Yeah.
And then Bilbo actually like full on like kicks him in the face as he's going over him.
But yeah, so he takes off running. Gollum freaks out. You know, he's a little. He went back to Mad Gollum or whatever. He's angry.
And he says, "Baggins is we hates it forever."
Yeah.
And I will say for any that have not seen the Lord of the Rings trilogy, just kind of keep that in the back of your head.
Yeah.
This encounter with Bilbo and Gollum learning Bilbo's name, and this just happened right here where Bilbo has stolen the ring from him.
Yeah.
Keep that in the back of your head if you have not watched the trilogy yet, because this will come up again, and not going to go into that, but it's going to come up again, and it'll make sense once we get to that point.
But we cut to the dwarves and Gandalf is counting the members of the group. He comes up with 13 and then asks where Bilbo is. Mm-hmm. Thorin answers by proclaiming that Bilbo acted selfishly. He ran off. He's like, he never wanted to be here, whatever.
Like we're never going to see him again. He's gone back to his comfy, cozy home. Yep.
But as he's saying that, I mean, Bilbo's there. He is reunited with them, but he's got the ring on, so they don't see him. And he kind of just, you kind of like, as you're viewing this, you're kind of feeling like he's going to be like, yeah, screw it. And he would leave. Yeah. But he takes off the ring and he's like, nope, I'm here.
I would even say at this point, though, it has that feeling of it, you know, because it shows Bilbo and he's hiding behind a tree and he's kind of got, you can tell he's in thought. Like, he's thinking about it.
He's like, yeah, you're right. Like, why am I still here? But he doesn't. He takes off the ring and he steps in and he's like, nope, I'm here. And Thorin asks why he came back, I think. And he admits, he's like, yeah, I'm homesick.
Yeah, and I don't think
I belong at home.
At first, it's not quite how he comes back, I don't think. At first, it's like, how did you avoid getting captured? How did you make it out? How are you still here?
Yeah, that's one. Oh yeah, he did, because as he's saying that, like, Gandalf is kind of like looking at him, and he tucks that ring into his pocket, and Gandalf notices it, but he doesn't really. I don't think he notices
he doesn't
the ring.
know what it is.
He's just kind of like, huh. Well, anyway.
Yeah,
and like kind of diverts.
Well, because at this point too, Gandalf says, "Well, what does it matter? He's back."
Right.
And that's when Thorin goes into, well, it matters. Why did you come back?
Okay, yeah.
Because in Thorin's mind, it's like, he had this opportunity to leave. I've been giving him crap this entire adventure. He's had...
What's keeping him here?
He definitely just had opportunity right here to leave. He could go back to Rivendell. He could go back to the Shire.
Yep.
He could go wherever he wanted to go. Why did you come back here with us?
Right. And he says, he admits to being homesick. He says that he belongs in the Shire. He belongs at home.
Yeah.
But he came back
because... And that's why he came back.
Right, because they don't have a home. Mm-hmm. And he wants to help take it back. He wants to help them.
And he even says, too, to Thorin, like, he's like, I know you doubt me. You have since the beginning.
Yep. He addresses it. He flat out says
and,
it.
That's when he goes, like, oh, I miss my armchair, my books, my warm bed, whatever else. And he's like, that's where I belong. That's my home.
Right.
And that's why I came back, because you guys don't have a home. It was taken from you.
Right.
And he essentially says, I'll do whatever I can to help get it back for you guys.
But as they're saying that, good old Azog, shows up, and they make the comment one of them goes out of the frying pan, and Gandalf completes it by and into the fire.
Yeah. So before we get on to this part, I just want to with Thorin, with what has just happened, with Bilbo saying what he said. Yeah. At this point, I feel like this is the point where Thorin starts to truly respect Bilbo. Yeah. Yeah. You know. Because, Bilbo is completely out of his element through all of this stuff. Like, he is, honestly, the only point where he's helped the company so far is distracting the trolls long enough for Gandalf to get the sun on them to turn them to stone. Oh, yeah, really? That has been his only contribution thus far. Mm-hmm. You know? And Bilbo saying what he said, and he actually says it very heartfeltly, you know? Mm-hmm. Like, he means it. Yeah. And for Thorin, this is kind of like a... Maybe I should start not being a... Yeah, he's like, okay. Go ahead and take your note. Yeah, we're in person. You can actually see when I make a note on something. I look over at your notes, and that is the only one where you need to make a... Honestly, it is, because I've got ad break. I've got the ad break written down where we resumed after the ad break. That is the only one. That is the only spot where you just kind of do the... Yeah. Yeah. Yep. But Thorin at this point just like maybe I should actually start like kind of being respectful towards him. Like he's given up quite a bit. I think this is where Thorin realizes like he's given up quite a bit, and he's come out of his element. He's taken the risk to help us. I should probably start not being so mean to him type deal. He's had a bit of a change of heart. Gonna start showing him some respect that at this point honestly he deserves. Yeah. And like I said, he has had no reason. He's getting really no reward for going through all of this. Right. I think this is kind of the point where Thorin's starting to realize that. Yeah. But anyway, they start running. One of the wargs that is with the orcs and stuff runs at Bilbo, and Bilbo has a sword out and it impales itself, but it stabs it right in the head. It stabs itself, basically, because he didn't really do anything except hold the sword out. And I just think that's funny, too, because Bilbo has no combat experience. No. And we even see that when Gollum first tries to, eat Bilbo or kill him to eat him later. Like, the way he's swinging his swords, like, 2 hands on swinging back and forth like a little kid does. Like a little kid does, Like, he's got no experience in combat whatsoever. No. His experience is when he was a little kid, he would run off and fight imaginary dragons in the forest. Essentially, yeah. That's essentially his combat experience. And so the fact that he actually, because technically speaking, he kills a warg, although the warg just impales itself. So, okay, really quick, and we're making all sorts of side notes to this, so I don't even care at this point. But just looking back, okay, you saying that, running out in the forest and whatever. I remember when you and I were little. I don't know how little. Yesterday. So we were out at my parents' house, and they live out in the country. So there's like a tree line going along. There's a
creek and stuff. So we would go in there and we would like often enough. I think it was with airsoft guns. Like we act like we're doing this or that. But I remember So there was this ledge. It was a lot higher, and then there was a bed of rocks, and then it was like grass and stuff, and the creek was in between them. So it was like the ledge was going into the creek. So I took off running. I jumped over the creek, like so we could get to the other side. You did that, and you just go fall on the rocks.
I don't remember this.
I remember you tumbled a little bit. You didn't get hurt, but like it's just kind of funny. I don't know, that stuck out because you saying often whatever fighting imaginary stuff. I just remembered when we were littler doing that kind of thing, and that what you just said is what I imagine Bilbo doing when he was a little kid for his quote unquote combat experience. Probably, yeah. It's essentially like we have as much experience fighting zombies because I think that's what we would use to pretend. But anyway,
probably.
Anyway.
But anyways,
last week. So
right. Bilbo gets a kill, but really is not the one that killed the warg because the warg impales itself.
Right.
But they end up coming to a cliff and they're stuck there. But they've got trees all around them, and Gandalf tells them to climb.
Right. And so they start climbing the trees.
And I just find it funny the way that they climb, because as I just saw here, one of them steps on the head of one of the other dwarves to jump up into one of the trees.
Yeah.
And it's like, the dwarves are like throwing each other up into the trees and whatnot. Bilbo's still trying to get his sword out of the head of the warg.
Yeah, he's...
Bombur, the fat one, is hanging on the lowest branch there is because he can't pull himself up any higher.
Yeah.
And Bilbo's just standing there with all the wargs charging at him.
Yeah, just trying to get his sword.
And finally we see him clamber up a tree.
Right.
And they've got wargs all around there on him, trying to jump up into the trees to get him. And the situation is dire. Like, there's no way for them to get out of this. They're stuck.
Gandalf in this pulls aside a butterfly and kind of like whispers to it and releases it.
I'm not sure.
Flies off.
I'm not sure if it's a butterfly or a moth or what. I don't really know the difference, honestly.
Well, either way, it's
a little flying bug.
Yes. So, but then in this moment, Thorin sees for himself Azog is still alive. They see him, and Azog he's a piece of trash. I hate his face. I hate him. I don't like how he talks and how he looks. But he's hellbent on getting Thorin's head, and he basically is like, and all these other orcs, get them, but that one's mine.
Yeah, and like we learned from when we see that flashback to the Battle of Moria, Balin, the oldest one of the group, the one with the white hair, that we often enough see talking to Thorin like privately.
Yeah.
He even says, that Azog had vowed to wipe out the line of Durin.
Right.
And I don't remember if I said before, but I'll say it again. The line of Durin is like the line of kings. So in Dwarven history, Durin the First, because that's how they do it, right? Durin the First is the first king of all the dwarves.
Yeah.
And so for the dwarves, Durin is not someone that is born to a royal line named Durin, right? Durin is...
Like the title?
Not the title, it's the name, right?
Oh.
But you have like Durin the First, Durin the Second, the Third, the Fourth, the Fifth, the Sixth. That's not just given to someone of royal blood. That's given to a dwarf that is the spitting image of Durin the First. That's the way the dwarves look at it. In their eyes, reincarnation is a thing. So when Durin the Second was born, and he looked just like Durin the First, this is the reincarnation of Durin the First. Okay. He is our king now. Oh. Like, he is taking back his place as king of the dwarves.
Okay.
Is how they do it.
Yeah.
And it's also, just real quick, the dwarves also believe in, like, Durin the Seventh will be this great figure that's going to take back all the lands of the dwarves and basically restore all the different kingdoms of the dwarves that have fallen over the years.
Okay.
Just for that's a side note. It's not really anything important per the movies and coverage, but I think it's a cool little thing. Like, it's kind of like their Messiah, I guess, or their version of Jesus, more or less, if we're looking at the Christian faith.
Well, I mean, if we're looking as, honestly, and here's maybe one of those correlation things, because the dwarves are wandering without a home, Israel roam the desert, and they maybe, I mean, there's somebody to come that will be the one to save.
Or if we look at Star Wars, right? Durin the Seventh is the chosen one. Durin the Seventh is Anakin.
Yeah, it'd bring balance to the Force.
Yeah,
he's going to bring back the things lost. Yeah, yeah.
And that's just a little tidbit on the dwarf belief, in case anybody was interested in that. But yeah, Durin the Seventh, because right now they've had 6 of them.
Yeah.
Right. Durin the Seventh is essentially
Thorin the 6th.
Thorin is not.
What's Thorin? What is he? Is he technically any of them right now?
No.
Okay.
Because as I said, Durin, like the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th, and 6th, are spitting image dwarves of Durin the First.
Right.
And so, as I said, it doesn't matter if they're of royal blood or if their parents were farmers.
Yeah.
Or if their parents were toy makers or miners or weaponsmiths or anything like that.
Sorry.
It doesn't matter what their parents' occupation was, what they are doing when they reach maturity and actually look like Durin the First. If they're the spitting image of Durin the First, they are the reincarnation of Durin the First. They are now king. Like, that specific kingdom will keep its king, right? But that dwarf now becomes... It's like, you have the king right here on like, king level. Mm-hmm. This dwarf that looks like Durin becomes right above him for all the dwarven clans everywhere.
Okay.
So, like, each individual kingdom still has their king, but they all answer to this one dwarf now.
Okay.
And
but back to the movie. The wargs kind of jump at the tree, shaking it, trying to knock it down, and it does knock it down, and it falls into other trees to where then the dwarves and Gandalf switch to that tree, but it just keeps working its way towards the absolute edge of the cliff.
Yeah, the cliff where there's somehow one tree sitting there.
Yeah. But then Gandalf grabs a pine cone. Kind of twirls his staff around it, and it lights on fire, and then he throws it at the orcs.
And just for clarification, where he does this is before the trees fall.
This is?
Yeah, where they start doing the pine cones is like right before all the trees fall.
Okay, but they're knocking the trees down, but
they're knocking some trees down, but it's before the big domino effect tree happens.
Okay.
Yeah. Just for clarifications for anybody. But yeah, because with the whole fire thing with the pine cones, right? Gandalf, and I think I mentioned it last episode. Gandalf has one of the 3 rings of the elves, which is basically essentially the ring of fire. Yep. That's what. Yep. That was the intention.
All right.
But
it's not actually called the ring of fire. You're just making a joke.
Yep.
I love that. My mind went immediately to make a joke. I didn't realize. Oh.
Yeah, but it essentially is the fire element ring. Okay. And so, like, I want to say Elrond has the water, the ring of water, and I don't remember which one Galadriel has. I don't know if it's wind or earth. I think it's wind, honestly. But
so, Gandalf, Fire Nation?
Not evil and like trying to take over the world version, but yeah.
But different version.
Essentially, firebenders shoot fire where he wants. But no. So he has the ring of fire, and he got it from another elf. That his history goes way back, all the way to the whole Gondolin thing and all that stuff.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. But that elf gave the ring to Gandalf to help other people. So, like, he's able to... It's not just, like, he's magical and he can do fire. Right. It's like he has a ring that amplifies that magic, and that's essentially what he's using along with his staff for this. But so he starts lighting the pine cones on fire.
Yeah, and they're chucking them because then that kind of, like, creates this wall of fire, this separation between them and the orcs.
And so as they're chucking them, too, it's like... Gandalf lights the one pine cone, the dwarf next to him lights a pine cone off of that one, and just a chain effect to all of them, and they keep relighting more pine cones, and like it creates that wall like you said, but it's also like setting wargs on fire.
Yeah.
And it's like we see some wargs running off while they're just on fire.
Right. They kind of celebrate their separation a little bit, but then the trees start to fall. Mm-hmm. Well, the tree that they're in is the final one.
So so that domino effect happens when we see a lot of the trees fall.
Yeah.
But that final tree they're in is still upright.
Yeah, and it is on the absolute tip of that cliff, which then there's just a huge fall, and it starts to tip.
Yeah,
it starts to fall.
It's literally like horizontal.
Yeah.
Off the cliff.
And they're barely hanging on.
Yeah, like one dwarf falls and Gandalf like reaches his staff down and the dwarf grabs it.
Yeah.
Another dwarf falls, grabs onto that dwarf's boot. So Gandalf is holding 2 dwarves. And like these dwarves are not light. Like I would say each of them easily weighs close to 200 pounds.
Well, yeah, I mean they're no
like they're
freaking
sturdy. They're sturdy people.
They're not the one dude. What was his name?
Bomber.
Yeah, they're not Bomber, but they're, you know.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, so they're barely hanging on. And then Thorin sees Azog, and he's just, like, driven by vengeance. Mm-hmm. Starts walking down the tree and approaching him. And then Azog is kind of, like, getting happy. Like, he's smirking, like, all right, let's do this, you know.
Like, at this point, it's like, he's like a fat kid in a candy factory.
Honestly, or you in a school zone.
I mean, well, it'd be what it'd be.
I'm sorry, by the way. I don't know why I make those jokes, because there's no indication that you're a predator. And I never would have, like, I'm just being a jerk.
Yeah.
And you feed it, so you know what, it's on you. Anyway, though.
But yeah, so we see Thorin like charging at Azog, and he's got his oak branch on his arm for his shield.
Now, did he have that this whole time? Is that something he carries along?
Yeah. So
okay, I thought so because it has metal on the end of it.
Like say, if you get a good look at it, it's not just he's holding onto one branch, but he has a strap on it that he straps to his arm.
Yeah,
he's got 2 metal points at the end of it where he could like catch a sword if he needed to. Like he's fashioned it and uses it as a shield.
Yeah.
And like he's reinforced it with like steel and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But you know, he's charging forward and he's got his wooden branch shield up.
Yeah.
And Azog just has his warg lunge forward and just
lays him out.
Knocks Thorin on his butt.
Yeah. And
and because this is just like a really big turn in the fight compared to when we watched them fight in the Battle for Moria.
Well, yeah, because in that they were. Well, Thorin was the one who basically won. You know.
Yeah. Well, because at first the fight for Moria is similar because you know like Thorin's on the defensive the whole time.
Yeah.
But then he gets back and he gets to the offensive. But in this fight, you know, he gets knocked on his back. Azog comes charging forward again, hits him with his big barbaric mace.
Yeah.
And then you know. His warg just starts just bites down on Thorin and just like sinks its teeth into his chest.
Yep.
And you know we get a moment where we see Balin like yelling in sadness, like I would say his best friend and his king is getting his butt kicked. He's like
in his mind it's going downhill, like he's probably gonna die.
Yeah, in his mind his king is about to die. Because you know, like the warg has Thorin in his mouth and just holding him there while Thorin's trying to get free. You know, throws him over and like is going to finish him.
Yeah.
And this is where we really see the bravery of Bilbo.
Yeah, I mean because like the Pale Orc is like commanding his people is like go bring me his head, kill him,
like bring him over here, like either bring me his head or let me finish him.
Yeah,
you know.
But Bilbo comes running and attacks the orc that's about to do that.
And actually, if I'm not mistaken, kills it.
He does, eventually. Yeah. Like, he attacks the orc, stopping him, but then he stabs it to death. Mm-hmm. And stands in defense of Thorin's now passed out body.
Yeah.
The rest of the dwarves then kind of join him and start fighting the orcs and the wargs. But
I mean, like, before the dwarves get there, though, like, Bilbo's standing there in front of Azog and his white warg. Yeah. And then all the other, like a bunch of other wargs and orcs behind Azog.
Yeah, like easily outnumbered, outpowered, because like, come on, he's a hobbit. And
that's like
these things are like...
It's like if someone was standing there with a knife and they're surrounded by dudes with like RPGs, essentially. Like for a comparison here, like, there's no way he wins, is basically what it comes down to. And, you know, he starts fighting them, the dwarves come out and, you know, start attacking them, so Bilbo starts fighting too.
Yeah. And, yeah.
And, you know, Azog is closing in on Bilbo, because at this point in Azog's mind, it's like, this is the little piece of crap that stopped me from doing what I want to do.
Yeah. But then the ones that are on the tree fall down. They fall off the cliff. But these giant...
Eagles.
Birds.
Eagles. Yeah, giant eagles.
Come in, catch them, and then these things start showing up, picking up all the dwarves, taking off with them.
And so, I don't know if you knew, But the whole thing with the butterfly with Gandalf was getting the eagles to come help him.
Yeah, I figured.
Okay.
I mean, yeah. It was just kind of, it seemed significant because it just seemed pointless in a way. Yeah. But seeing then them show up, it's like, yeah. So and actually in the first Lord of the Rings movie.
Yeah, he does the same thing.
Right. But
yeah, so the eagles come up and they start like literally grabbing wargs and like tossing them around. One of them uses its wings to blow the fire and make the fire spread onto wargs and orcs.
One of them comes in, picks up Thorin, leaving behind his shield. If I'm not wrong.
Yeah. So Thorin still has his unconscious body is kind of holding it, but as he gets lifted up, it falls.
Yeah.
But we do see then the dwarves are getting picked up by all the eagles and obviously Azog is.
Oh yeah.
He had Thorin right there in his grasp. He had the numbers and all that, and it literally just got taken from right out in front of him.
Yeah. But they're all taken off. Obviously, Azog's pretty mad.
Mm-hmm. And Gandalf is the last one on that tree, and as it goes and finally falls, he jumps and lands on one of the eagles.
Right. Then they fly off into the moonlit sky. Azog screams in anger again.
And Bilbo and Thorin live happily ever after.
Yep. This has been fairy tale endings. Yep.
But no, so after Gandalf jumps on the eagle and they fly off, it cuts to Azog again and he like yells after them in rage. And we see the eagles drop off all the dwarves and Gandalf and Bilbo on
the highest point of a mountain.
Yeah.
It's like it looks like a hike to get down. Like it's not an ideal place in my mind, but it's manageable.
Yeah, but
whatever.
I've always thought that too though, because it's just like you flew them all this way, and it shows here in the film too. It's not like there's an easy pathway up there. It's like it's a plateau with a straight drop on all four sides.
I mean, there's like a little bit of jagged rocks that I guess you could climb down, but yeah. It's not an ideal place, but I guess it gives them the view that this ends up ending with. But regardless,
but everybody lands, and obviously, they're all worried about Thorin because he's still unconscious. Yeah. And we see Gandalf actually heal him. Like he does some muttering of words and heals him.
He uses the Force and heals him
and pulls a Baby Yoda.
Yeah, I hate that, but. The child. He basically does that, except he's not trying to eat him this time. Anyway.
But yeah, so it shows Gandalf heal Thorin.
Right.
But Thorin asks about Bilbo.
He immediately asks about the halfling, or Bilbo. Thorin seems angry even. Like, kind of like, you saved me? Like, this was my fight kind of thing. He approaches him.
I think it was, for me at least, it gave off that, like, how could you be so stupid to try and take him on by yourself?
It was kind of that tone. Also, this kind of like almost like it's my fight kind of tone, at least to me. And he goes, "Didn't I say that you would be a burden? You had no place amongst us." And then it's kind of like Bilbo's like, kind of like down a little bit.
It's kind of like Bilbo's like, "What the heck, man? I just saved your life."
Yeah,
like,
but then
like, really?
Thorin ends it off with, "I have never been so wrong in my life."
And like just like wraps him in a hug,
embraces him. I mean,
this is the point. Like with no doubt that Thorin fully accepts Bilbo in the company.
100%.
For a very good and obvious reason, Like,
yeah. But he apologizes for ever doubting Bilbo for being the way that he's been. But Bilbo responds. He's like, "No, you were right.
Yeah, like
you were right to do so."
He's like, "I would have doubted me too."
Yeah.
Like, I'm not a hero. I'm not a warrior. Like, this is not my life.
But then we really get this cool...
Too.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. He even says, so he looks at us like, not even a burglar, with a little bit of a hint of like a joke in his voice.
Yeah, he's like, I'm not even a... Yeah, exactly. Thorin notices something in the distance, though. Mm-hmm. They all take a look, and it is one singular, lonely mountain. Way in the distance.
Yeah.
But there. They see it.
Mm-hmm. And so I saw this picture before... And it basically gives kind of like helps you realize the distance of like the journey from the Hobbit and the journey of Lord of the Rings.
Okay, yeah.
And if I'm not mistaken, it's essentially from like Iowa all the way to New York.
Okay.
For the Hobbit.
Right.
That's the distance they travel.
It's a good distance.
It's
a good while.
For the Lord of the Rings, for when we get there, just for people understanding how long that journey will be.
Yeah.
It's essentially from like Iowa.
Why is Iowa the central?
It's just kind of where they went to make the distance easy
It's fine.
to do, right? So it was essentially from like Iowa all the way over to like Virginia.
Okay.
And then down all the way to Florida.
Oh, that's kind of interesting.
Because basically what the person did was they took the map of Middle Earth.
Yeah.
And they already had lines of their journey and just put it over the United States.
To scale.
To help scale it out. And it just happened that their start with the way they lined it up for that, it was like from Iowa where Hobbiton would be all the way to those 2 points. And then for the Lord of the Rings all the way down to Florida as well.
Okay. But either way, home is in sight. They have it. They're there. Then even the birds are returning to the mountain, which I don't know the significance there yet, but we'll probably end up figuring that out. The birds are coming to the mountain.
So, with the birds to the mountain, think back to what the map said. When the thrush knocks for finding the door, like standing there with the last son of autumn on Durin's Day, when the thrush knocks, the keyhole will appear.
Thrush? What's thrush?
A thrush is a type of bird.
That we see that then coming up now, right?
But that's what I'm saying in terms of like the significance of the birds returning.
Yeah.
Think back to that kind of prophecy type thing because when Smaug first comes in, all life in and around the mountain leaves.
Well,
whether it's the dwarves fleeing or birds leaving, deer running, all that kind of stuff. Even all the way down to like frogs and like bees and flies, like everything leaves when Smaug shows up. And now life is slowly starting to return to the mountain.
Yeah. And they say like that's a good sign. Bilbo makes a comment, I do believe the worst is behind us. Then we close in on the bird flying. It's flying towards the mountain.
And so this bird is a thrush.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thrush, then.
Yeah. Because there are the ravens of Erebor.
Oh, okay.
That we'll see in one of the later movies, and essentially the dwarves used like ravens for like messenger birds.
Oh.
Kind of like back like in some other shows where you see them use like doves or pigeons or whatever, like the dwarves used ravens.
Okay.
But we see the thrush pick up like a
nut. Basically, it's like a walnut shell.
And start hitting it against the wall.
Yeah.
When the thrush knocks.
It starts making that sound. We kind of get this drone footage type, like intricate view going into the kingdom, going around and all this, and we go all the way to this.
See the treasure hoard,
this pit of gold.
Yeah.
But we still hear the knocking, and all of a sudden the gold just spews forward.
Yeah, it spews forward, and we see it start to slide, and we
see like this scaly outline go over. There's a closed eye of a dragon, and it opens.
And then we get cut to credits.
Yep. So Smaug is awake.
And well, essentially what this does here is it tells us that the dragon's not dead.
No.
So, because like as they were saying earlier in the film, the dragon could be dead. It could be dead and that treasure unguarded. We could get in there and take it and reclaim the kingdom.
Yeah, so that's
this right here is, it's verifying for us, the viewers, that the dragon is still alive.
He ain't dead, no. But yeah, that ends our 2-hour long finale to the first Hobbit movie.
So, and this is something that I just thought was kind of cool. When they were making these films, right? When they filmed that scene right there, right here at the end, they still didn't have a clear image of what Smaug was going to look like.
Oh, you told me about that.
Yeah. And so it's not until like a month maybe before the second movie aired in theaters that they had a final entire depiction of Smaug.
Yeah, because didn't you say in the beginning in this movie when he like come in, he had like an extra leg or something he's one of those types that has like legs and wings instead of the wings functioning as legs or something.
Yeah, and because this is one of my pet peeves personally, when people mistitle these different like beak creatures.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Right, so a dragon has 2 arms, 2 legs, and wings.
Okay.
A drake has 2 arms, 2 legs, no wings. A wyvern has 2 legs and wings for arms.
Okay. And which kind is
So when they first started filming this, they had him as a dragon. So 2 arms, 2 legs, and wings. But in just a fair warning dead on spoiler, if you guys have not seen the movie yet, go ahead and jump forward a couple minutes.
We'll end the episode here.
or end it here.
We're basically done. But
but when they first were thinking of the way to make Smaug, they had him very bulky and very like wide shoulders and like very, very sturdy, right? Mm-hmm. And the shape of his head, they still hadn't come to a conclusion on that and whatnot. But when they first filmed this and we see Smaug going into the Lonely Mountain at the very beginning, they had him as a dragon with 4 arms, 2 arms, 2 legs, and wings. Mm-hmm. Whereas the final rendition of Smaug is 2 legs and wings for arms.
Yeah, so a wyvern.
A wyvern, yeah.
Wyvern. Okay.
And so, like, anybody that's seen Game of Thrones, where they refer to them as dragons, that really bothers me because those are technically wyverns.
It's not as catchy, though.
It's not. But then you have, like, in Lord of the Rings, even, too, in the universe, right? They refer to a lot of... So, wyvern, or I guess dragon and drake are very interchangeable in Lord of the Rings.
So, did you have a lot of inner conflict when playing Skyrim?
Oh, that made me so mad, man. I couldn't... Oh,
Dragon?
Man. Yeah.
Yeah.
But so... Because, like, in the beginning of this movie, right, they even refer to Smaug as a fire drake.
So they're just going all over the place with what it is.
Really. Because, as I said, a drake has 2 arms, 2 legs, and no wings.
Yeah.
It's a fire-breathing lizard that just walks around.
Yeah.
And because there's, like, I think there's, like, 6 major... what they refer to as dragons in Lord of the Rings universe. And Smaug is actually the smallest of all of them.
Oh, interesting.
But their shapes vary. So you have like Smaug, who is technically a wyvern. Mm-hmm. You have the Fire Drake of Gondolin, who's an actual dragon. You have one that's called like Skyla or something like that, which is like a water serpent with wings.
Okay.
It's like or maybe not a water serpent, but it's a serpent with wings. Think of like the Chinese dragon, right?
Oh yeah.
Except give it wings and no legs.
Oh.
Think of something similar to that, right?
Okay.
Then you have one that's Glamdring, something like that, where it's a drake. It doesn't have wings; it has arms and legs. It's very similar to Gandalf's sword's name, but it's not.
Okay, that's where I was confused. That you saw the look on my face. I'm like, wait.
And then the last one, the biggest of any dragon in Lord of the Rings, is Ancalagon the Black. Who is so big, we do not. There is no... the size of Ancalagon the Black is still not known to this day. So, and it is said...
How do we know that? But we just know it's larger.
So it is said in one of the books that it is the largest dragon to ever exist in the universe. But when it fell and died, it literally destroyed mountains as it fell. Like, it was that big. Like... Oh,
man, I wish I... Something about, like, creatures that are huge. I want to see.
Yes, and so like my only way to try and imagine how big he is, think of what is it, Ghidorah from Godzilla, the 3-headed dragon, thing, right? Yeah. Think of that with obviously just one head, and make it like 10 times bigger, and that's the type of size that I kind of try and equate it to.
Okay,
like. That's how big it is. And so Smaug is the smallest of the major well-known dragons.
Okay.
And we saw how big his head is right there,
Yeah.
And we will get to see in the next film how big he truly is.
Awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think that this is a good place to end because we're at 2 hours long.
Yeah.
And that's fine. I mean, we're wrapping up one movie. That's and it's whatever. But yeah, thanks for joining in on Your In Depth. Next time we will be covering the season finale of season 1 of Mandalorian.
Yep.
And next on our Hobbit coverage, we will jump into is that the Battle of the 5 Armies?
Yeah. No, it's the Desolation of Smaug.
Oh, okay. I don't know that. Yeah.
And I will say...
We'll see that. We will probably get a closer look at the iguana, Smaug.
So before we go into our final, our normal final ending as we do, I do want to pose a question for the listeners.
Okay.
Because we were talking with my brother earlier when we hit that intermission for the ad.
Yeah.
And so he is very big into the Lord of the Rings world, and he knows a lot of the backstories of everything. And I would like your guys' input. Would you guys like a special episode that goes into all the histories and stuff?
Yeah.
Because we can definitely do that, and that would be a lot of him talking about it, more so than myself or Jacob.
It would just be a conversation probably with him leading it. Or us prompting him leading.
Yeah, so it would be us prompting and us posing questions and him answering.
Yes.
But if you guys want that, we can definitely do it. Just I would like to know you guys as a listener's opinion on that. If you guys would like more of the backstory of Middle Earth and its universe. Please give us an answer on that, whether it's in the comment section or even if you send something, then email it to our email, yourinDepth@gmail.com.
Yep. And you can also obviously join our Discord. Any method that you have to get in touch with us, give us feedback on that. And actually, if on top of that, if it is something you would like, and maybe we probably do another episode saying that we're going to do it. But I mean, if you have input, I guess ask questions in your emails or your messages. But
so we do have, like I said, we have the email. We do have the Discord server, which there'll be links for both of those in the description.
In the description, actually, and also there is a method of getting in contact. You can actually record voice messages and send them into Anchor. There's a link, I think, to that in the description as well, because I think it automatically does it.
Okay.
But and if it's moving on, I guess, to reviews, if you do that, we can actually include that in on the episode as well.
Yeah. And so we still do have our
goals.
Our goals. So every 1,000 downloads will be a blooper reel. And then every 100 reviews, which we are still yet to
on iTunes, Apple.
I think it's Apple.
Yeah, it's Apple. Yeah.
But every 100 reviews that we can see on Apple, we will do a live stream review of an episode or movie or whatever we're on at that time.
Yep. Do a live stream. You guys can ask questions as we do it.
Yep. And you guys can really just send us off the rails, off topic with that. So that'll be fun whenever we do hit that point. Right. But again, this is all on you guys for getting there. If you guys want that, please go in and leave reviews. I don't even care if you leave like 20 reviews just to one person doing 20 reviews. Like,
honestly,
if it hits 100, we're doing it. So if you really want it, if one person listening really wants it, leave 100 reviews.
I don't know if you can do that, but if you can, I guess go for it. Whatever.
If you can, go for it. But it's at the end of the day, it's on you guys. If you guys want that, please go leave your reviews. Yep. Tell your friends about it,
Other than that, I think we have maybe 300 more downloads before another blooper reel.
Okay.
But yeah. Anyway, I don't
have any other comments besides that.
I don't either. So thanks for joining on this in-person recording of You're in Depth of wrapping up Unexpected Journey.
Yeah, and we will catch you guys next time for, as Jake already said,
Mandalorian Chapter 8.
Yep. Till then.
Anyway, peace out.
Peace.
Deuces.
Deuces.